Herta Asset Damage Evaluation List. Asset Damage Evaluation List drafted by the Herta Department of Implement Arts. It has records of thousands of cargo damages totaling a ridiculous sum to be paid by the IPC alone. Number 3471. Reject Silence. Asset Category Curio Collection. Item Description: a tiny orchestra set that automatically plays some not too bad exotic music when the ambient noise is at 0 dB. If the surrounding is louder than 0 dB, the set will remain silent. Level of damage: 80%. Damage details: functions the exact opposite way as it claims to be. The noisier the surrounding, the louder it becomes. Estimated IPC settlement: 118,000 credits. Number 3472. Dark Matches. Asset Category Curio Collection. Item Description: there's nothing special about these matches designed to be used in dim environments. If you stare at them long enough, you may even find them pitiable. When placed in bright areas, transparent and odorless aerosols in dark green can be spotted floating near their heads, which are safe to be touched by hand. Igniting the matches will drive away light and usher in darkness. Level of damage: 100%. Damage details: unexpectedly, monsters from the Legion found them particularly interesting and stole them all. Estimated IPC settlement: 32,000 credits. Number 3473. Interdimensional Bed. Asset Category Immovables. Item Description: situated in the Herta Department of Implement Arts, this bed lies in the middle of scented lime green vines. Those sleeping in its fragrance will, in their dreams, cross the boundary between dimensions and travel among the stars. Level of damage: 10%. Damage details: a number of vines were burnt down. Please replace them by collecting new ones and deliver through interastral shipment. Estimated IPC settlement: 97,000 credits. Number 3474. Railway Platform. Asset Category Immovables. Platform used to host guests of the space station and parked spacecrafts. Level of damage: 50%. Damage details: truss structure deformation. Need concrete. Estimated IPC settlement: 5,770,000 credits. Number 3475. Astral Express. Asset Category Spacecraft. Item Description: spacecraft parked at the space station platform. Should the craft be damaged, Herta Space Station bears minimum liability. Level of damage: 20%. Damage details: multiple scratches on coaches, damaged paintwork, high energy cost against mileage, odor from monsters, delayed schedule, opportunity cost, extraordinary wear and tear, psychological damage. Estimated IPC settlement: 990,000 credits. Number 3476. Shiki Megascope. Asset Category Researcher Personal Belongings. Item Description: megascope used to observe the Aquila constellation. Level of damage: 70%. Damage details: with the piece broken, you'll have to make do with the naked eye. Estimated IPC settlement: 48,000 credits. Cosmos Public Service Award. An honorary award given out by the Herta Department of Galactic Geopolitics in recognition of companions of partial justice. Miss Soul. When gamma rays and neutrino bursts are blocked outside of the spiral arms of the cosmos, when yet another scheme devised by a Lord Ravager is thwarted by the resourceful Rangers, that is when the whistling of justice soars over the star wall of preservation, and the people of the Seven Aeons rejoice. In this amber era when unprecedented changes took place, the Herta Department of Galactic Geopolitics still managed to capture tidbits of information from light years away. All because of your honorable deed which left a mark on the ever-fleeting energy flow of the universe. As scarce as it may be, justice like this is commendable in its own right. It may not crush the vile foe once and for all, nor can it restore the rights the victims have lost, but it will, like the butterfly that caused a storm, repel all evil and pull good people together, leaving a remarkable chapter of justice in the history of this universe. For this purpose, a little bird travels through the glittering stars to name you Lord of Peacekeeping. Your title is hereby certified. May your voice be heard across the galaxies thereon. Herta Department of Galactic Geopolitics, 2157 AE. Signed by researcher Elizabeth Watson. Letter from the Comet Hunter. A letter from outer space by Jose Lazaro, the Comet Hunter. Full of rubbish. Part 1. To any Herta space station researcher who picks up this letter, hi there. You still alive? Call it a bummer if you want, but the fact that the space station is surrounded by antimatter legion is hardly news to anyone. The entire universe knows about it except for the indifferent, head-in-the-sand bunch worshipping preservation. Other folks would at least make a bet during their downtime on how much time the space station has left. If you ask me, I'd say the space station is done for. Didn't think the Legion would actually do their job this time. Bad news for the space station though. I, on the other hand, made a small fortune out of this. I wonder how livid your Madame Herta must be. My new boss has made it clear. If this genius really does need help, the Intelligentsia Guild is willing to put everything on the table, as long as she recognizes that the Genius Society is not any better than the Intelligentsia Guild. What say you? Tell her about this generous offer. If things do work out, send your reply to the World's End Tavern. There's a seat if you walk in. Turn left and walk 5 steps. You'll find it on the 9th row. The one with an iron bell and an Aster falcifolius plant hanging over. Shove the letter under the 4-liter Capocali tankard. Ha! Obnoxious former researcher of yours, Jose Lazaro. Part 2. To young researchers in the Department of Cosmic Geography. My young fellows, pals, or whatever. Behold, a tapestry lies before you on which your former Department of Cosmic Geography colleague weaved in his discovery and realization after he made a breakout from the Herta space station for the Grand Cosmos. The Interastral Peace Corporation won't sell you a word of what I'm about to say, even if you hand them 1,000,000 worthless credits that you have to sell your homes to get. And do you know why? Because what I am saying here is about freedom, rebellion and instability, things that evoke hatred from the IPC, which loathes risks, and only cares about making employees mindless machines. The best the IPC can offer is to distract you with 1,000 exotic wares and 1,000 false choices from what truly matters. This is precisely why it attempts to please many factions. It's trying to hide the reality we live in under a facade of false prosperity and happiness. Now is the time to face the truth. When I was with the Herta space station, the Department of Cosmic Geography was looked down upon by all other departments. Those self-righteous biologists, politicians-to-be, fortune-telling conjurers and profiteers, all of them despised us, thinking that we were too incompetent to study anything else other than playing with stones and mud. But once you leave the Herta space station, you'll find that truth couldn't be further away from what they led you to believe. Our knowledge of the scale of the cosmos is on par with that of the nameless who traverse the universe. Our desire to learn more about the geography of the universe was once blessed by the Trailblaze Aeon, who laid down star rails to connect the planets, linking the far corners of the universe, even the dark areas. The deity goes by the name of Akivili. On this course paper that didn't cost me a penny, I share with you the teachings they left us before passing away. Be proud and look skywards. If you feel things are not going your way and that all is without purpose, or that the universe is dark and cold, blow a hole out of the Herta space station. Make a breakout from the space station. You will find that the cosmos is yours to explore. I know this because I have done so. Disclaimer: the content of this letter is for members of the Department of Cosmic Geography only. Don't hold me accountable if you brats from other departments try to follow suit. Former member of the Nameless, now an armed archaeologist of the Intelligentsia Guild, Jose Lazaro. Part 3. To old friends and enemies and new ones. Those of you who don't know who Jose Lazaro is, feel free to ask the head of the Department of Implement Arts. I can still recall the man in charge of the Department of Implement Arts when I was a junior researcher, trying my best at work. Wen Huairen was his name, the old man of Wen Mingdi. Old Miser really enjoyed cutting our research funds. He slashed the supply of instruments used to test the composition of atmosphere and soil on different planets and used the money to buy showy antiques from the IPC, calling it business exchange. He had an eye for rare relics, I'll give him that. He bought low and sold extremely high in the interastral market. The Department of Implement Arts was raking in profits because of this. In the meantime, we had to make do with an astro rod for planetary research. Even after I hit his face with the astro rod, he did not change a bit. Business as usual. Money for Department of Implement Arts, budget cut for Department of Cosmic Geography. Business must have been booming for Department of Implement Arts since I left. After all, one less accountant who ran random checks and pushed for fair distribution of resources to worry about. More and more suppliers have Herta Department of Implement Arts branded on their packages. In addition to Wen Huairen, all those who bullied the Department of Cosmic Geography were taught a lesson by me, Jose Lazaro. Many became my enemies who saw to my removal from the space station, but some turned into my friends. I'm not the most amicable type, true, and I got into a lot of trouble because of that. But Wen Tianwang was the only one who gave me a proper smack. It was on me though, I owe him that. Those old friends of mine, I know most of them are still kicking. The same goes for me. In fact, I want them to know that I have never felt better, despite the fact that I nearly kicked the bucket and the wastelands of destruction several times. My head was wanted by numerous factions thanks to my recklessness. Years of savings wasted in Masked Fool's pub. None of those matter now. I'm alive and kicking. An old friend. Or enemy. Jose Lazaro. Comet Hunter's Treasure. Comet Hunter Jose Lazaro's Treasure. A prank that has been advertised in advance. To Treasure Hunters 1. Ha! You are fooled. There is no treasure at all. The only reward is the 4 scrawls by me hidden in this room. You must have recognized it. Yes, Madame Herta's likeness is in there as well. Surprised, eh? If you are a junior who worries all day to impress your boss, take a deep breath. No good if you have a heart attack now. If you are one of those playful young fellows, I'd suggest you take them. Go back to them when you find life miserable, and have a good laugh when you are not busy doing your research in a dark corner of the ivory tower. Signed, Laughing Jose Lazaro. To Treasure Hunters 2. Right. If you are reading this, you've probably listened to me. That means you always follow through with what you started. I have to admit it would hurt my reputation had I asked you to go through so much trouble just for nothing. After all, I can't foresee to whom this letter will go so many amber eras later. There is a chance, however unlikely it may be, that you are a future defender of my reputation. Someone worthy of my legacy. Wouldn't want to accidentally put you under friendly fire, would I? So be it. It's time that I bring forward the real treasure. Signed, your respected Jose Lazaro. To Treasure Hunters 3. Have you ever tried a type of soda named Capocali? It was once the signature of the space station. Extremely popular in the Southern Orion system. Sorry to brag, but I'm indeed the creator of the famous Astro Rod and Cosmos Guide. And undoubtedly, Capocali is also my creation. The IPC offered me 5 million credits for the recipe, and I turned them down. Wen Huairen from the Herta Department of Implement Arts attempted, and failed, to steal it 33 times, all resulting in him getting a good smack from me. I will now make the recipe public. 5 millions worth. See you in the next letter. Signed, Legendary Drinkmaker Jose Lazaro. To Treasure Hunters 4. 3 lines redacted. Yes, you are seeing it right. Above is the secret recipe of Capocali. I swear on my mom's life that it's authentic. If you are one of us, you'll know how to decrypt it. Got a tip for you. A specific method of autoradiography is required to reveal the text. Signed, Jose Lazaro, the Terrific. Capo Kali Secret Recipe. The uncrowned king of the beverage world. A coarse slice of manly friendship, and together with a lethal dosage of humor. To treasure hunters for, when, my man, how are things? After I left the space station, my little birds in the Department of Cosmic Geography told me things were not exactly going your way thanks to my unconventional way of doing things. Your entitlement to become the head of the Department of Implement Arts got stripped. To add insult to injury, they put you in the maintenance room to make up for the giant hole I blew out. It is what it is. My apology would only hurt you more at this point, nor can it make up for your loss. You know me. I hate hypocrites more than anything. For years I've been wandering amongst the stars, and I can't remember how many times I thought of writing to you. But I've heard that of all the people working in the station, you hate Jose Lazaro the most. What is the point of sending you a letter knowing very well that you would not read it? That's why I sneaked back to the station some time ago and set up this puzzle for you to solve. All this fuss just to make sure you get the letter. Now, it's time that I hand over the secret recipe to Capo Kali to you. Sell it to the IPC. They'll make it worth your while. Some sort of compensation from me, I guess. I wish you well in the rest of your journey. Secret recipe of Capo Kali. Caramel. Carbon dioxide. Peas. Canterbury bells. Interdimensional leaves. Ambergris of abundance. And orchid zest. Yes, you are seeing it right. Above is the secret recipe of Capo Kali. I swear on my mom's life that it's authentic. If you are one of us, you'll know how to decrypt it. Got a tip for you. A specific method of audio radiography is required to reveal the text. Signed, Jose Lazaro, the Terrific. Species of the Galaxy. Wubaboo. On the surface, this book is no different from any other. But upon closer examination, you will find that it is surrounded by a layer of stellar light, as if imbued with a hidden spell. The encyclopedic information on Wubaboo is recorded on the open page of the book. You can turn the page with your hand, but the content will always remain the same. It's almost like flipping through a book of sifting sand. It seems that you need some sort of authorization to view the other contents, some sort of key. Galactic species serial number, spiritual number 415. Species name, Wubaboo. Cosmic nickname, Wubba. Jinx, mischievous astral spirit. Category, kingdom spiritual organism. Class, astral spirit. Order, shapeless. Family, spirit essence. Species, Heliobus. Research summary. Spiritual organisms, represented by astral spirits, can be traced back to the recorded beginnings of the Amber Era. The Leviathan's conception theory believes that some elder Leviathans were run aground after the Dusk Wars. During their lengthy slumber, their decomposed cells became the seedbed for organic organisms, and their dissipating life force became wandering astral spirits. However, more and more scholars have begun to publicly denounce the Leviathan's conception theory in recent years. Other nascent theories are not included here. In the beginning, the astral spirits did not possess individual wills, and all they did was float and wander aimlessly in the cosmos. During the era of Trailblaze, as the Nameless traversed the cosmic expanse, the astral spirits became allured by the humans' freedom of travel. The mortal beings possessing the strong emotions of love and lust made a strong impact on the barren core of the astral spirits. Humans have become the most desirable hosts for astral spirits. The astral spirits would follow the scent of emotions and find their prey, possess their body, and turn the host into a mindless walking corpse. Hosts that aren't able to fuse with the astral spirits will die on spot. A verified case of a nameless named Erwin Hessler became possessed by an astral spirit and managed to form a symbiotic relationship with it. Those possessed by astral spirits and ended in tragedy are lost as time goes on. Afterward, these types of spiritual organisms hid and blended into human society. Their exceptional abilities to sense emotion and control people's hearts and minds are feared by many. Wubbaboos have inherited the abilities of their astral spirit ancestors, but are not as deadly. On their own, Wubbaboos enjoy scaring people and appear as ghostly, semi-transparent, shifting forms. After attaching itself to a host, the personality of the host will change dramatically and their behavior completely altered. After committing a series of pranks, the host will regain consciousness. If the brutal acts of astral spirits are for the purpose of possession and evolution, then Wubbaboos roaming would purely be for fun. That's right. They go around being mischievous for no specific reason, and would leave after they get bored. The ruckus would end, and the host would return to normal, but the damages caused along the way cannot be salvaged. According to the space station's Adler's tier system, Wubbaboos fall under the medium containment level. Although it does not pose a deadly threat, it does have the potential to cause a lot of trouble and should be kept from breaking loose. Sin 41 Homeward Cloud Messaging. The Homeward Cloud messaging system transmits echoes from other planets across the cosmos, thereby carrying messages from the researcher's homeland and family to the space station. These are screened by the Department of Galactic Geopolitics and distributed to the corresponding researchers on the station. Male origin. Planet Sin 41. Male type. Family greetings. Examination result. Passed. No mimetic virus present. Examiner, Elizabeth Watson. Send to Department of Ecology, Entry Researcher, Akura Shu. Dear Shu, your dad and I are very happy to have received your third letter. It made him so happy that he lit a harmonious joy that he has saved for many years to celebrate. I couldn't stop him. You know what I'm talking about. Ever since the Slinkins announced the ban on spices, all related products have been removed from our daily lives. Your dad is risking being arrested and physical punishment to celebrate. He even showed the entire town your letter. Please understand that he's not trying to breach our family's privacy. It's just that he's genuinely proud of having you as his son. That night, everyone bunched together to read your letter. The curio in the space station that you mentioned is something unheard of here. And the descriptions of the researchers you work with, well, to people like us who have spent their entire lives on Sin 41, they sound like geniuses compared to even the Slinkins. However, according to what you said in your letter, the Slinkins aren't the embodiment of the truth, nor the dominion of the universe. Then does that mean they aren't able to bring our civilization to its apex? Are there really more majestic beings than the Slinkins? To be honest, this is all a little too much for me. I tried looking through historical records in the pile of dusty books about the period before the Slinkins arrived, but was stopped by your father. He said that the only reason I would attempt to do something as risky as reading banned books is that I had nothing better to do. I was about to use your words to talk back to him, but he said that if I had the time for that, I'm better off gathering another basket of leaves from the spice fields, so that we would have enough money to send you a few more things from home next harvest season. I thought about it. Your father was right. These things are better left to you young people to think about. Oh, and there was a boy who got really excited reading your letter. His name is Milo, and he used to attend the same academy as you. Let me think. He stood on a chair and said you have brought brand new knowledge to everyone. He said that you were the fire bringer or something. He quickly left after saying that. At the time I am writing this letter, he has already been missing for 22 days, and today, in the foggy morning, his body was discovered. The morning fog has been very thick recently on Sin 41. I think it's because the Slinkins have increased the burning of spices. I think they are celebrating some sort of holiday, or welcoming someone important. A number of small spacecrafts flew frequently around the Slinkin residential area. But I digress. Back to Milo. He was lying in the wilderness 100 meters from the Slinkin residential area. His eyes, mouth, ears, and abdomen were stuffed full with used spices. The townspeople all said this is a warning from the Slinkins. We buried Milo on a small hill, on the side where the dark yellow lilacs blossom. A few people cried, including your father. They loudly denounced the thick smoke and how it makes their eyes hurt, but quietly claimed that Milo's individualistic style cost him his life. If he had an idea, he should have talked to everyone about it. They also said that he was stubborn, like a pair of fire tongs, and didn't rat anyone out till his death. Don't worry. After what had happened, I won't ever let your dad carelessly share your letters again. Oh, I've also got something that's been bothering everyone. Aren't you working at Herta space station? Then what does Madam Herta mean? Is that a person? From your descriptions, she sounds like a slinkin. Intelligent, wealthy, cold, and a little crazy. You've dealt with slinkins on Sin 41 for more than a decade, so it's no surprise you were able to earn her favor. Obviously, I'm not saying that your work isn't just as splendid. I believe that getting number 1 in your evaluation is a result of an immense amount of hard work. But then again, you've already proven you were capable of that when you first passed the exam and received the ticket to board the space station. Oh, and that Master Capote you talked about. Him being so nice to you shows that there are more good people than not in the cosmos. Or why would the stories of the Galaxy Ranger be passing around everywhere? If you are a big celebrity on the space station as you say, then you need to be even more careful and restrained. Please don't mind my nagging. I just don't want you to be impulsive and pay the price for it. A mother knows her son better than anyone ever could. Well, that's all the reminders I have for you. I've been dreaming about you lately. In my dream, you locked yourself in a black house. It makes me very worried. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. I let my imaginations get the better of me, and it's been affecting my sleep. I'm always worrying about if your work is going well, if you're eating enough, if you've lost weight, if you're wearing enough clothes, and all sorts of other questions. I had the Astral Logistics send you a pair of wool pants I spent an entire season knitting, but it was rejected by the space station. They said that everyone there wears protective uniforms and have no use for something crude like this. Your dad was furious and tossed the pants in the new house we purchased for you. We basically spent all the savings we had from harvesting spices on that house. We're not recklessly spending money. There aren't many other luxuries to be had with the Slinkins ruling the place. We both hope that you can get married and start a family of your own soon. But if you don't plan on staying on Sin 41, then that's a whole different story. After all, that would be something completely beyond both of our imaginations. Oh, shoo. Mom wishes you health and happiness. Hop on a warp ship soon and come home to us. Researcher Akura Shu's diary. Pages recording the unrest and extreme emotions of researcher Akura Shu. Shunned, exiled, forgotten. 3951, 2157 AE, Lyrid meteor shower. Ha, this may sound strange, but imagine a Herta space station researcher who spent a lot of time in space being fearful of zero gravity. It's been 5 hours and I can still clearly feel the sensation of the traction cable tightly wrapped around my upper body. Even though I am aware that the cable is made from a rare lithium fluoride that can't be damaged by even the sharpest blade, I still imagine myself being unbound and slowly floating into space. After all, the universe is vast, and there is definitely a place for everyone. What's the point of staying on the space station and being constantly humiliated? Maybe I would be lucky enough to be intercepted by the celestial comet wall while floating through the darkness and board the jingling minecart of the shepherds to travel amongst the stars. But it is also possible that I would fall right through the cracks of the cosmos into the great abyss of the Leviathan, like a mayfly into the mouth of a giant whale. Are their insides warm, dark and moist, or is it like the gentle starry night sky, as the Nameless describes it to be? If it's the latter, I would at least be able to witness such magnificent sights before my death. It'd be better than staying here and being treated like garbage. Anyways, it really doesn't matter where I die. No one would care anyway. Beep. Beep. Balance confirmation complete. Red lights flash inside the balance cabin. The noises notify me that the inspection mission has been completed and that the power balance of the protective field is intact. Dying in the mouth of the great abyss is just my blabbering. Right now, I need to lean on the control station and make some formal recordings. I'm sure the terrible handwriting wouldn't be an issue. Perhaps I shouldn't waste the first-hand information and try to complete the anti-gravity protective field research report as soon as I can, to make up for the undesired results of the previous research and regain some of my self-evaluation points. Or maybe I should go and find Wen Tianwang in the repair room for a beverage to relax my nerves. I can then be honest with myself and admit my distaste for writing research reports. Through the porthole, I can see the faint blue-violet lights of the anti-gravity protective field dispersed across the universe. It has been around for a total of 8 Ember eras. It is hard to imagine anyone other than the IPC being able to put together something with the ability to withstand such a long period of time. Was its original conception praise for Madame Herta? Or was it a prophecy against an unknown danger? Or was it both? It didn't matter, because soon the monsters will be arriving, and they will throw themselves at the space station more frequently than they have in the past. The mutations they will send will also be more horrifying. They've been kept in the research cabin for the past era, and living as phantoms in the rumors that spread across the space station. But now, being in the front lines, it is very likely I will encounter them eventually. This isn't exactly bad news. In fact, it makes me excited. Information regarding the Legion has always been monopolized by the elite researchers. It would be much more interesting to observe the space station's most prominent enemy up close than inspecting and repairing ionization balance and researching for ways to upgrade the defenses. Why would upgrading defenses be something a researcher like me should be worrying about? Does the IPC only make the defenses and offer no after-sales services? Leaving the task of ultimate survival to the researcher with the lowest evaluation score in an era doesn't make sense at all. I suspect that this is just a trap, and that there is a subtext to it. Once a researcher fails, he should go and do some physical labor to prove what value they have remaining. Although I have no interest in this topic, I have to produce a decent research report or I'll have to continue my stare down with it in the next era. It is a spectacular form of cyclical punishment. I actually don't really understand why everything has a score. Obviously, someone's gonna say only a bottom feeder and a failure like me would question the logical nature of a point system. All the researchers line up to enter the scoring room on the same day of every system year, allowing the space station to inspect us in the name of erudition. Like pigs for the slaughter on an assembly line, we are branded with elite, average, or inferior scores. For the purpose of receiving a higher score, topics that are less popular, more esoteric, or have a longer reporting period are deserted by the researchers, while the number of research topics that are for flattery and show increase by the day. I understood something when I looked at the researchers pursuing that artificial score. We are not being blessed by the erudition, but exploited by it. It can easily control this crowd of intelligent minds, placing their unrestrained ingenuity in one specific location, thus annihilating all possibilities for them to think freely. I cannot help but think about the situation on my home planet, the one marked Sin 41 on the Hosi star map. Back then, I was such a genius and with so much energy. When I first showed the potential to take the test, my childhood companions were no different from the shallow researchers at the space station. They had surrounded and cheered for me, just like how the researchers are now celebrating the heroes researching the Legion. They had prayed that I would one day take them away from Sin 41, that one day I would show the residents of Sin 41 what life is like in Segmenta outside of the colonized area. They've once dreamed of a different life, one that doesn't include wasting their entire lives harvesting hallucinogenic spices to sustain the Slinken species' supposed dreams of immortality. I too only found out after arriving at the space station that the Slinkens aren't the rulers of the cosmos. On the contrary, compared to the supreme existences in this cosmos, The Slinkins are really not that different from the residents of Sin 41. If the residents of Sin 41 were brave enough, they should revolt at all costs against the weak social control the Slinkins have over them. But they can't, because they lack both knowledge and courage. Although I've overcome my lack of knowledge regarding these oppressive situations, the cowardice bred from the impoverished soil on Zin 41 has been etched deep into my bones. That was why I remained silent when I received my single-digit score. Due to those unpredictable spiritual organisms, I received the gaze of the Skynet in the scoring room. Just as I had bathed under the acid rain of my home planet, I was burning up. I was humiliated. I was full of hatred, and I was silent. However, it's proven that even the feeling of awkwardness is unnecessary. There is only one benefit in splitting people into different grades outside of the space station: the convenience of feeling superior to others. It is worse here, however. The researchers have no need for something like a sense of superiority. All their hard work is for the purpose of gaining Madame Herta's attention and acknowledgement. They walk past me as if I am just a harmless ghost. That's right. There have always been harmless ghosts wandering around aimlessly in silence here. It's just that by the time I became able and willing to notice them, I too had become one of them. I still haven't found the courage to tell my real situation to my family in the distant homeland. I don't want them to know that the genius of Sin 41, whom they had such high hopes for, is nothing but an inferior grade pig in the space station they gaze upon day and night. Signed, Akura Shu. Observation on Wapaboo Behavior. Behavioral research report about the Department of Ecology's collection, the spiritual organism, Wapaboo. This page is extremely wrinkled. It is obvious that someone had crumpled it into a ball before tossing it away. File number 51052345532364742. Department of Ecology. Copyright ownership: Akura Shu. Number of times submitted: 7. Estimated filing date: 32/11/2157 AE. Main body. Wababoos exist in the world individually, in groups, and parasitically. It is known that when without a host, Wababoos keep their whereabouts hidden. After they parasitized a host, their destructiveness is positively correlated with the host's mobility. Comment 1, Comment 2. Based on a small test sample, Comment 3. A singular Wababoo possesses the intelligence of a roughly 6-year-old human. When in a group, the Wababoo's individual intelligence reduces dramatically. This is because the thought waves of spiritual organisms interfere with each other, and a resonance in frequency will affect their individual decision-making. Whether with or without a host, the actions of the Wababoo and its host will abide by the 4 following rules. 1. Happy Wababoos will quickly run around a room with 5 or more corners. 2. Sad Wababoos will gather in an empty room and share their unhappy thoughts with one another. 3. Angry Wababoos will expose themselves to strong rays of light. Some Wababoos will not be able to bear strong emotions and scatter into cosmic dust. 4. Calm Wababoos will experience the strangest period of their life. They will destroy everything in their path and prank organisms around them out of no reason but pure mischief, truly living up to their nicknames of being a jinx or mischievous astral spirit. Comments 1. Cited reference. Wababoo possesses Space Station Brute, steals 113 pairs of radiation protective boots in under a month, caught due to unbearable odor. From Herta Urban Legends, issue 2156 AE, month 25. 2. Cited reference. Blitz. Quickest collection operation in station history. Wababoo possesses 70-year-old woman, caught and booked within 5 minutes. From Herta Urban Legends, issue 2157 AE, month 7. 3. The first sample is taken from researcher Adler. Due to Adler's spectacular display of intelligence in his age group, the results were ineffective. The second sample is taken from researcher Wen Xiling. This paper has adopted the test conclusions of this sample. Reviewer feedback. 1. It's common sense not to reference urban legends. 2. Is the sample size large enough? Have enough samples been taken? Does abruptly coming to a conclusion based on a singular sample reference fit with the Herta space station's research values? Aside. So it's my fault that there are only 2 children on the space station? 3. What does rooms with 5 or more corners mean? Aside. A room with more than 5 corners means a room with more than just 4 corners. How else do you want me to explain it? 4. Some Wobbaboos will not be able to bear strong emotions and scatter into cosmic dust. What were the steps that led to this research conclusion? I recommend an investigation looking into whether this researcher has abided by the research guidelines, and if there were unacceptable behaviors, such as damaging collections and assets. Review conclusion. The research process is grossly lacking in scientific rigor and approach. The validity of the research conclusion is yet to be proven. Department evaluation conclusion. Failed. Will not be filed and stored. First evaluation reviewer. Capote Dao Lanchi. Aside. To hell with you. Second evaluation reviewer. None. Fragments of Herta Research Atlas Volume 7. Traffic. This codex records all the transportation type curios in the station. Item number. Transport 01483. Collection date 2156 AE. Purchase price 2,130,000 credits. Market value 1,842,000 credits. Handler Wen Huairen. Serial 01483. Cosmic Emergency Rug. A beige and brown bohemian style rug. Places where woolen tassels should have been are now replaced by small golden stellar rings that oscillate up and down at the same angle both ways. It will automatically adjust its size within a set range based on the weight of the item it is applied to. It is the most common space survival equipment on spacecrafts. It successfully transported and saved hundreds of passengers in the first large-scale space transportation accident caused by the traffic event brought upon by the Stellaron. Item number, Transport 01484. Collection date, 2156 AE. Purchase price, 180,000 credits. Market value, 560,000 credits. Handler, Wen Huairen. Serial 01484. Compound eyes. A hideous goggle covered with compound eyes like soap bubbles. The user will see 36 different perspectives that together give a 360-degree full view. It is said that this is a daily necessity for crew members conducting warp jumps and hyperspace jumps. In the first traffic jam event caused by the Stellaron, jump ship pilot Bescott Wagner was able to avoid collision with 14 other simultaneously jumping ships due to wearing a compound eye. Item number, Transport 01485. Collection date 2157 AE. Purchase price 37,000 credits. Market value 41,000 credits. Handler Wen Mingdi. Serial 01485. Beacon coloring paste. Next to the resplendent colors floating in the void lies a flat tin tube of about 32 centimeters in length and 3 centimeters in diameter. The tube is filled with a dark gold gel, which absorbs all known colors and turns into that specific shade in the end. This is a commonly seen emergency item the Nameless carries. Whether in the void of the cosmos or on the ocean of a planet, the beacon coloring paste will always release a line of brilliant colors on the cosmic darkness or on an ocean. It will also adjust its own color contrast and saturation based on the light source and shade of its surroundings. The bright, visually stimulating colors of the beacon coloring paste allow the Galactic Rescue to easily spot signs written with it. It was invented by a Nameless who possessed great artistic abilities. This nameless once experienced a flight incident and was trapped in a barren and desolate star system. In the end, with the use of scraps from a white star fragment, he was able to produce the most magnificent item in the history of search and rescue, the beacon coloring paste. There are also cosmic bandits who use the beacon coloring paste to leave graffiti packed with profanity everywhere in the universe out of ill intentions, a rebellious nature, or an inflated ego. Page 17,071. By Herta. Poem written by researcher Rocky Martinez. Darkness is gathering in the distance, using cruel methods to dissect time. Petals inquiring for love bend their lips, like the ticking chimes in an infinite time and space. We have no choice but to slide into the shivering calamities of the universe as if sliding down a slope into dusk. And with that, the stars continue their enjoyment above as their elegant smiles fill the way forward. By Rocky Martinez. Letter from Locus Silenti. A secret letter submitted by a self-proclaimed cryptologist from Locus Silenti. It seems to be talking down the conspirator of the Xenohydro. Upon the stars, that is where the talent and intellect reside. Oblivious to the world as the envy becomes blinding. Who knew gentleness and kindness welcomed only pain and suffering, like the risk of falling into the depths when trying to mount the sky. An inquiry into spirit traces, a glance into the site of storage. Even with iron shoes worn out unearthly, one has to visit the three depths. Better off alone than to be an accomplice. One day, as they turn around, a path will be lit by the radiance of the stars. Signed, Cryptologist from Locus Silenti. Herta's Manuscripts, sponsored and financed by the Interastral Peace Corporation. This book is a book about the universe, aeons, factions, and everything else written by Herta, number 83 of the Genius Society. This is what I want to write. The lonesome gods and their blind followers. Preface. On that day, Scholar Cleo from the Candelagraphos asked me, "Is there something you would like to write for the universe?" I told her there was nothing, and she replied solemnly, "Please, just write something. It is a request from the IPC." To be honest, I've never thought about this before. The Genius Society has its own rules and rarely ever shares anything with the outside world. Actually, why should we care about what happens to the universe? Our research and discoveries make us happy, and that's more than enough. Even if the cosmos were to go into all-out war, we would be able to take care of ourselves with our abilities. However, judging from a different perspective, what harm could it do even if I were to write a book? None that I could think of. In fact, I'm not the only one who's thought of publishing in the history of the Genius Society. Xandar, member number 1 of the Genius Society, wrote a book before. Aiden, member number 22, an inventor of the 9-worded formulae, also wrote a book. To my knowledge, Screwlum, member number 76, also wrote a booklet a few amber eras ago to educate its butler on the maintenance of a large computer management system. Besides, the great News the Erudition also stored all the information within their body. Isn't this also a form of writing? Having thought of all this, I feel it would not be a bad thing to actually sit down and write a book of my own. The IPC sent someone last week to deliver the down payment for the book. I was shocked to see the number of zeros on it. I began to think seriously about writing. First, I need to explain the content of this book within this preface. It will not contain any of my groundbreaking discoveries, nor will it have intrinsic mathematic deductions. Though I am famous for the above, I wish to display my true self here. Truth be told, I want to write a book about the universe, aeons, factions, and everything else. I've had more frequent interactions with other worlds in the past Amber eras. I began to work with the IPC, assisted Xian Zhao in their battle against the abominations, got my hands on numerous collections from the Astral Express, and stirred up some trouble with the Garden of Recollection. I've been more active recently than I have been ever before. I've noticed that the truly interesting things in the universe aren't its cold laws and rules, but the aeons formed of highly condensed philosophy and the foolish, conniving humans gathering around the aeons. This is what I want to write. The lonesome gods and their insouciant followers. I hope the readers will find the book satisfying. Thank you, IPC, for your sponsorship. Chapter 2. Genius Society. Please consider the following question. What is the most mysterious organization in the entire universe? Is it the famous Stellaron hunters who dare to work against the IPC? Is it the mysterious and unknown Device 9? Is it the nameless that perished alongside Akivili? Or is it the Beyond the Sky Choir that only exists in legends? None of the above. In truth, the most mysterious, supernatural, and nebulous organization is the one that the author of this book belongs to, the Genius Society favored by the Aeon Nous. Firstly, let us state a universal truth. The author is a super genius of the kind only born once every few millennia, even on the scale of the entire universe. To reiterate, the author is not shameless, but shame means nothing to the author. The author had solved the solitary waves theory and the spark model hypothesis at a very young age. As a young adult, the author discovered the conversion method for sigma baryons. The author proposed the Herta sequence and published a paper on reversed progeria in middle age, and managed to conduct reversed progeria in old age. In their regained youth, the author once again solved the secret behind the imaginary leakage phenomenon, and captured and sealed the Stellaron from beyond the sky. The author had saved the planet they were on from total destruction for a total of 19 times, and has met the Aeons twice. The above is but a fraction of the author's innumerable accomplishments. Invitations to join the Genius Society are only handed out to individuals as rare as the author, and there have only been 84 of such illustrious members since the birth of Nous. Therefore, on the above evidence, the author deems the Genius Society as the most mysterious. In this book, for the first time ever, the enigmatic veil of the Genius Society will be lifted for the readers. The draft ends here abruptly. Words are scribbled below. The people of this stupid society don't communicate with each other at all. What am I supposed to write about? An unfamiliar handwriting follows. Dearie, you have to write something. The readers are looking forward to it. The familiar handwriting from Herta continues. If it's so easy, why don't you write it? Chapter 3. Intelligentsia Guild. The universe is vast and without bounds, and erudition encompasses countless. Geniuses have their own ways with words, as the ordinaries have their own self-satisfactions. Aside from the Genius Society, whose pool of extraordinary talents merited them a personal acknowledgement from Nous, there is another organization that is motivated by erudition and tirelessly continues its studies and research, known as the Intelligentsia Guild. All personal bias aside, the hard work of the Intelligentsia Guild deserves a degree of respect. Nous's club is filled with weirdos, lunatics, lone wolves, antisocial geniuses, and outcasts. Though they continuously produced astonishing findings, they never share this knowledge with the outside world, let alone publish it. With this book as an exception, parenthetical, stricken through. The philosophy of the Intelligentsia Guild is to instead communicate and share. Knowledge is a type of hard currency, and miracles are only brought about when currency is in circulation. As such, they exchange knowledge for wisdom, and formulas for recipes. The IPC accepted and sponsored them in a very generous fashion, lending them the near infinite powers of the IPC and the technology to move across worlds. The scholars traverse across many worlds and collect all valuable knowledge, turning it into a commodity. The Intelligentsia Guild is more like a commerce group when compared to ordinary researchers. Their structure is built upon basic individual organizations of schools, each responsible for their own earnings and expenses. The scholars would research and trade the knowledge they've acquired in their area of expertise, trying to obtain truly priceless treasures this way. The following are a few more renowned schools for the reader's perusal. Synesthesia School. The Synesthesia School is undoubtedly the school that has made the greatest contribution to the cosmos. For a very long time, communication has been a critical issue that has troubled the IPC. The foundation of any trade is its contract. However, the drafting of a contract requires mutual acknowledgement of its terms, and there is a long and complicated list of languages spoken by intellectual life forms. The researchers of Synesthesia School worked to build a common thought bridge between the different species known as the synesthesia beacon that is widely used today. Thanks to the synesthesia beacon, all body movements, flash signals, sound vibrations, or the change in odor molecules, any sort of signal that holds meaning, will be converted into a thought pulse and translated into a comprehensible language. The first obstacle of communication has been overcome. The IPC used the synesthesia beacon as the foundation and built a giant database, storing the speech and vocabulary of almost 100 million languages. Inscriptions are no longer a mystery. It is said that the IPC is still paying the Synesthesia School a hefty licensing fee each quarter. This school has the wealth of a nation. A reliable contact has informed the writer that the next research topic of the Synesthesia School will be long-distance communication via ultra-remote sensing technology. This technology was already invented by Elias Salas, member number 56 of the Genius Society, and put into the use of the Genius Society over 600 Amber Eras ago. But of course, the geniuses encouraged the average Joe to continue to develop their own erudition. Astral Ecology School. This school views the cosmos as a large ecological observation subject. They are obsessed with studying the void song whale, luminescent jellyfish, and other organisms of the cosmos. The school earned its recognition for the discovery of the celestial comet wall. The IPC was exhilarated to hear the confirmation that this was an ancient creation of Klipoth, aeon of preservation. They paid the school an incredibly large sum of money, once again proving the old saying of work smart, not hard, to be correct. Candelagraphos. The Candelagraphos is the printing department of the guild. They are made of countless authors, transcribers, typists, programmers, and workers who produce books. This school is founded upon the noble gesture of altruism, surrendering selfish scientific research and throwing themselves at the grand service of sharing wisdom with more people. The science of the Intelligentsia Guild is gathered here and organized into books to be published and sold to all the worlds. The most famous series is definitely The Traveler's Guide. Armed Archaeologists. This is a school passionate about cosmic exploration and archaeology. They are always heading to the most desolate planets and exploring the most dangerous ruins. Try to imagine a group of scholars armed to the teeth, leading a dozen mercenaries out of an exploration vessel and crawling in and out of the crevices of ancient buildings that have been forgotten for countless Amber Eras. They would leave behind the few fools that accidentally triggered various traps as an offering. Upon reaching their destination, they would dig up valuable artifacts and ancient writing before calmly laying down explosives and opening a path made from total destruction. They would then happily board their ship and leave. Some say they look more to be mercenaries than scholars, but that is up to each person to interpret. Quantum History School. This is a new school, reformed from the bankrupted Psychology History School. Its original purpose is to find the influences of disturbance and patterns of change hidden throughout history, and then make predictions for the future. However, they have become a group of scammers that use a series of complex calculations for fortune-telling. The reason I've included this school is to wrap up this interesting piece of writing with a funny joke. Chapter 2634, Strike Through. Chapter 4, Interastral Peace Corporation, Klipoth. The Amber Lord. A colossal statue without a head, silent and oblivious. They only think about constructing their mysterious and giant wall. What was it for? No one knows. What is it they're trying to keep out? No one knows. Most normal people will ignore it after realizing our ignorance, but there are always abnormal people in this world. There are two different types even in that group. One type thinks that, wow, there's a god building a wall. This means walls are sacred, so we are going to build walls too. What kind of ridiculous logic is this? And with that, this group of people believes they've received some sort of revelation and began wasting precious resources to build useless things on their respective planets. These people are known as the Architects. As for the other group, well, they're even dumber than the Architects. Although the Architects have a few screws loose in their heads, they're at least thinking about doing things that are beneficial to themselves. On the contrary, the other group of people think that, wow, there's a god building a wall. This means walls are sacred, so we have to help God build walls. What? And with that, a group of people filled with a self-sacrificing mentality gathered and formed a support team for Klipoth. Knowing that they are not exactly capable of doing anything, the support team used the power of paths and flew to different worlds to source the various materials needed for building a wall as a tribute to the god. At this very moment, two intelligent individuals emerged from this group of imbeciles and changed the destiny of the entire cosmos. And now the writer will explain the events to follow in detail. First, the support team flew to an unfamiliar planet. They were lucky to find the planet inhabited by a friendly race who received them warmly. The support team said, "Respected companions of the cosmos, the universe is facing destruction, and our Aeon is building a wall spanning across light years to protect the cosmos. We urge you to take part and join in on the construction." The aliens reply, smiling, "Wow, that sounds extraordinary. What can we do to help?" The support team says, "We need wood, stone, rebars, cement, titanium, anything and everything that can be used in construction. We want them all." The aliens reply, "Good, we have a lot of those materials. What will you use to trade for them?" And this is when the first landmark of economics was born, the trade of resources. The support team says, "Oh, we have a lot of wood, stone, rebars, cement, titanium. Anything and everything that can be used to build stuff, we have it all." The alien replies, "This kind of trade would be pointless." And this is when the wise ones take the stage. Today, both of their names are inscribed into each wall and ceiling panel in the IPC. Louis Fleming and Dongfang Qixing. The wise ones quickly answer, "There is a planet called Clementine 3 systems from here. It has a local specialty called winter sun fruit that is incredibly delicious and melts in your mouth." The two upsold the berry as if it were something that fell out of heaven. The alien replies, "Wow, that sounds amazing. Okay, 500 kilograms of wood for 500 kilograms of winter sun fruit." And this is when resource gained a quantitative value. Winter sun fruits are extremely precious. Wise man number 1 Louis Fleming says, "An entire amber era wouldn't yield 500 kilograms of it. On the contrary, 500 kilograms of wood means very little to you. How about this? We'll trade 5 kilograms of winter sun fruit for your 500 kilograms of wood. I guarantee you'll love it." Dear readers, this conversation took place nearly 800 amber eras ago. I'm sure you can tell that wise man number 1 was being completely dishonest. Though winter sun fruits may be delicious, it is nowhere near as rare as he described it to be. The wise man was lying. He was able to do this because he had the ultimate advantage of asymmetric information. Once one party has more information than the other, then they will gain the absolute initiative. When applied to this specific incident, it meant that wise man number 1 possessed the power to set prices, and with that, things start to develop in a positive direction. The support team realized that they need to provide and trade with merchandise that the other party is interested in for them to get the resources that they want. The support team no longer purchases only construction materials, but start to buy food, drinks, clothes, and everyday goods. They want everything that other planets would be interested in. The more business they did, the bigger their business grew. Intellect number 2, Dongfang Qixing, realized something. If they're the only people in the entire cosmos that are in the trade business, then it's time for them to set their own rules. And with that, the galactic currency was born. More than 770 amber eras ago, Louis Fleming and Dongfang Qixing announced the reformation of the support team and started the Interastral Peace Corporation, or IPC. At the same moment, the IPC introduced the Universal Galactic Currency. Credits. Ever since that day, the people of each planet never had to worry about how much they could trade for their local specialties. Everything already had a price tag attached to it. They would receive credits from the IPC and use the credits to purchase merchandise from the IPC. The market is no longer comprised of three parties with the IPC in the middle. Now, people can purchase goods directly from the IPC. Although the sellers and buyers didn't change much, this actually forms a great advantage for the IPC. The buyer and seller asset movement seems to have come to a halt. Halted asset means that there are now deposit capital. Assets valued in the trillions have suddenly become hidden behind the IPC's credits and immediately filled the IPC's pockets. But the IPC has bottomless pockets. And just like that, the IPC turned from being just a small organization sourcing materials for an aeon to the strongest force in the entire cosmos. However, it is worth mentioning that even after having made such a great accomplishment, the IPC never forgot why the organization was put together in the first place. The construction materials the IPC has accumulated over nearly 800 Amber Eras are now piled across each planet surrounding the Aeon Clipoth. The Aeon has never uttered a word about their actions, nor made any use of their offerings. Even so, the IPC's outlook remains unwavering. This is what you call faith. Space Station Love Poems. Poems written by researcher Rocky Martinez for his lover. 1. Lay. Oh my Lay. How did I fall so deeply in love with you? Your white skirt is like a landed wild dove, tugging at my heart unknowingly. 2. You were as light as a swallow when leaving the station. You danced a tap dance on the skin of the abundance. You made my heart jump up and down as you danced, and made the Stellaron obstruct the star rail one chunk at a time. 3. Other than the halo and starlight, there is another woman in the cosmos. She brings with her my inquiries, ones that would last my entire lifetime. The answer lies at the fragile edges of the black hole. Her eyes are like the size of the clouds. Loneliness has turned blue into my name. Rocky Martinez. Sheila's character script, written by Gun Konolev, whose motive is veiled in mystery. Sheila's character introduction. Sheila Nova, guide of the Herta Department of Galactic Geopolitics, is the child of two unidentified justice researchers from the space station. Her parents were both killed in the war against the Lord Ravager's destruction of her home planet, Minyatar. Gun Konolev has raised her since her birth. She has gotten a proper and comprehensive education in the field of justice, and has made it her mission to propagate the moral ideas of the Department of Galactic Geopolitics. Note 1. She is always righteous and proper in her conduct, and she is never pessimistic in the face of injustice. Note 2. She runs thought experiments on ethics in the space station on a regular basis. Notes 1. Such a fabrication seems so pathetic in contrast to her real life. 2. Her code of conduct will be passed down to future generations. Sheila's dialogue lines. 1. Smiles. My name is Sheila Nova. 2. Elegantly, I am only a guide in the Department of Galactic Geopolitics, in charge of enforcing the regulations established by the space station's leaders on a regular basis. 3. Enthusiastically, I pledge myself to the Department of Galactic Geopolitics and to justice itself, with my health, dreams, and greatest passions. 4. Sad. I have never left the space station since my birth. I don't think I'll leave the station till my soul returns to the cosmos. Confession letter. Gun Konolev's confession letter for conducting a certain mysterious experiment within the space station. Several significant things contributed to my unwavering motivation as a researcher in the early years of my career. My inherent curiosity, my view of justice untainted by reality, and the agony of being powerless in the face of the loss of my youth and my motherland. Because of these conflicting emotions, I've written lots of books about cosmic justice, planetary history, and malevolent factions. In my works, I investigated the order of chaos and the future of the universe. And I once thought the past, present, and future of the cosmos were already within my grasp, until that incident happened and revealed that I was only a researcher after all. When reality hit, I couldn't stop the powerful from destroying people's lives, nor could I save the helpless people who were dying. As a result, in the final years of my career, I ceased investigating justice for people without power. Justice is an overly lofty concept. I intend to undertake a secret experiment inside the space station at the end of my life. Lead researcher Asta has agreed to my request. I'll try not to bother anyone with this experiment. I realize it's an unreasonable request, so here's my confession. This experiment is only a minor substitute for my abandonment of justice, just to fulfill a small wish of mine. Asta's letters from home. The letters that Asta exchanged with her family. Somehow, these letters show vastly divergent narratives on the same matters. The family insignia with hot foil stamping on the letterhead looks exquisite, but the jagged creases betray its prior life in the trash can. The first letter. Asta, the health of your great-grandmother has deteriorated. Please come home as soon as possible. Signed, Uncle Balint. The second letter. To my dearest niece, Asta, Balint assigned his men to guard the ward, and your cousins and I have tried for a few times, but his men still won't allow us to come close. I clashed with him during a video call a few days ago, and he insisted on not allowing us to video talk with the hospital, so I'm not sure what the situation is with Great-Grandma. Your father is still on planet Larchmont and hasn't returned, and he hasn't responded to any of the messages I've sent him, so I'm not sure what's going on. But I think Balint, he probably just wants to continue exploiting the IPC. I don't think he will harm your great-grandmother. You don't have to be worried too much about your great-grandmother, because the cosmos's best medical services are here, so there won't be any serious issues. However, I am concerned about you. A girl out wandering to study the trail of stars or something. Balint appears to have become desperate recently, and I'm concerned that he'll do something horrible to you. You should hire some reliable security staff, but it's okay. I looked at your route, and the closest planet to you is redacted. The coordinates are redacted, and there is an IPC subsidiary there under my name. You can go right over there. I've got a squad of very competent security staff waiting for you. Remember, don't believe anything Balint says. Love, Aunt Taylor. The third letter, Asta. You've been toying with telescopes and stars for so long that you've forgotten who you are. Great-grandma has mentioned you countless times. Please return home quickly. Signed, Uncle Balint. The fourth letter. Miss Asta, please accept my apologies for any inconvenience this has caused you. May I inquire if you have recently visited the Redacted group in Planet Redacted, in which the IPC has an investment, and if you have signed an agreement to transfer the family shares at 5:31 p.m. local time? The Foundation received this document yesterday morning, but after discovering that the digital origin of the agreement does not correspond to your usual location for the past 3 months, the process has been temporarily halted. Please keep an eye on your security device today and tomorrow for communication from the group's legal counsel. Signed, Gilson, Chairman of the Family Trust Fund Committee. Fifth letter. Dear Asta, I was able to reach Dad. He had been hit by an electromagnetic storm, which rendered all communication devices unusable. Are you still looking for the elusive Comet Rail? If you aren't too busy, you should come back. There's been a lot going on lately at home. You should be wary of Aunt Taylor. The trust fund alerted me the other day that she forged an agreement to transfer your shares, but thankfully you did not cooperate. Anyway, I'll tell you all about it when you get home. By the way, do you have enough money? I looked over last month's bill. How did you manage to spend such little money if you hired a scientific research fleet to accompany you on an expedition? Have you run out of pocket money yet? My baby daughter don't skimp on food or lodging to save money. Please let me know if you don't have enough money. Love, Mom. Asta's shopping list. Asta's shopping list throughout the cosmos, the recipient of which, unexpectedly, is Arlen. Dear Lifetime Premium member Asta, thank you for shopping at Cosmo Premium. We have received your order 239123 redacted and have arranged for it to be delivered to your home. Please keep an eye on the order update. You've chosen online payment. The exact shipment information is provided in the paper shipping record for each package. When you have multiple orders to fulfill, the orders may be shipped in different packages. The information presented on the My Orders page determines your actual order information. You may also access the page at any moment to change the order. Order number 239123 redacted. Shipping address, Herta Space Station. Coordinates, redacted. Consignee, Arlen. This order comes with one package containing the following items. 1. Exclusive fresh product. Fruit flavor strong and healthy calcium-rich milk, 10 cartons. Buy 20 bottles each carton. Room temperature packaging. 2. Soft Cloud extra thick high warmth vacuum compressed quilt for dorm/single bed blue star stripe. 1. 3. Shattered Star Blade Cosmos Great Swords illustration. Collector's edition. 7-volume reprint. 4. A 5-piece armor set made of meteoric alloy, including helmet, goggle, armor, shin guards, and gloves. 5. Customized for weapons interface only. External wireless large volume durable radiation shielding portable power bank with free charging base. 1. Asta and Business Elite correspondence records. A copy of Asta's email correspondence with the Business Elite, who created Universe's high-energy metafield space. The printed email with Asta's signature at the bottom and a handwritten note that reads, "Notify the Information Division of the Security Department." Read email to Asta at Herta Space Station. From Ryan at Cosmos Energy Unlimited. Email content. Dear Miss Asta, the most ambitious, visionary, and promising entrepreneur. Greetings and good evening. Earlier this year, I had the pleasure of meeting you and introducing myself to you at a charity event hosted by your family. But I know that a fine lady like you, who comes from a noble family and is well educated and intelligent, would not care about such trivial matters. I'd like to introduce myself once again. Oh, I genuinely hope you're the most brilliant lady, as the rumor has it. I am Ryan, the founder of the Cosmic Association of Entrepreneurs, as well as the chairman of the Cosmos Energy Unlimited Group, and the founder of the Universe High Energy Metafield Space. Throughout the last 10 years of hard effort, I was lucky to get long-distance counsel from an anonymous member of the Genius Society in my sleep. And when I awoke from my dream, I successfully created the Universe High Energy Metafield Space. I once submitted a business proposal to your group concerning the metafield space, but your offer did not meet the value I expected, and I passed up an excellent opportunity to work with you. However, I am the founder of the Association of Entrepreneurs, and several of our keen members have informed me of your email address via our extensive network. You are, in my opinion, the most gifted heir of the great families in the last few centuries. Furthermore, I am aware of your family's involvement in the IPC. As a result, I'd like to invite you to join me in starting a business. Only a young prodigy of noble lineage and great potential, such as yourself, can realize how my incredible invention, the Universe High Energy Metafield Space, will certainly add the most dazzling touch to your legendary career. Parenthesis. The business proposal is in the attachment, and the price I am willing to accept is as follows. You provide the investment, I take 60% of the shares, and you take 40%. This is an incredible opportunity. End parenthesis. Signed, Ryan. Sent email to Ryan at Cosmos Energy Unlimited. From Asta at Herta Space Station. CC Nina at IPC Data Security Department. Email content. After years of research, I discovered something new in the universe that no one else had observed. The universe contains a high-speed particle known as the Scammer particle. Scammer particles rotate at high speeds around normal organisms, forming the foundation of the metafield's elemental matter. Under constant external high-energy conceptual stimulation, the Scammer particles leap to the high-energy state and then return to the low-energy state after a brief period of time, accumulating credits from the outside world. However, there is another type of antiparticle among the stars, surrounded by a swarm of scammers. The anti-scammer particle will eventually explode and discharge its own energy, stripping the scammer particle of its positive valence form and causing it to disintegrate. This antiparticle was discovered by me. You are a moron for trying to scam me. Founder of the anti-scammer particle theory, Asta. Asta's equipment purchase contract. An equipment purchase contract signed by Asta to buy equipment for the space station out of her own pocket. It somehow fell into the hands of the wrong person. Contract number 27149. Content: custom instrument procurement. Purchaser: Asta. Supplier: Interastral Peace Appliances. 1. Procurement content. 1 purchase of service type levitating mini robots. Space station customized version 3 by 6 units. 2. Purchase of Object Finder Richard, version 0.63, master model, annual limited edition with charging dock, 10 by 10 units. 2. Quality requirement, compliant to the Cosmic General Testing Standard 10086 and purchaser's specification. 3. Payment method and deadline. Payment method: online payment. Payment deadline: upon delivery. 4. Delivery address and date. Delivery address: Asta, Herta Space Station. Coordinates: redacted, redacted. Delivery due date: 15 business days after the order is made. 5. Method of receipt: on-site receipt. Purchaser stamp blank. Representative signature blank. Supplier stamp: Interastral Peace Appliances external sales stamp. Representative signature Charlie. This invoice is a deduction copy invoice. The stamp and signature must be uploaded to the company's platform after completion in order to conduct third-party audit verification. Home Use Object Finder After-Sales Feedback Form. An after-sales feedback form sent from the manufacturer of the Home Use Object Finder to Asta. It somehow fell into the hands of the wrong person. Dear Lifetime Premium member Asta, thank you for your purchase at Cosmo Premium. The delivery status of your order 1659851 redacted has been updated. The delivery has been reported as missing and will not be delivered to the delivery address within the specified time. Your order has been reshipped. However, due to disturbances from the Antimatter Legion, the expected delivery time will be delayed a week and is expected to be delivered to you within 15 business days. If you require a change in delivery address or a refund, please contact customer service at assistant number 10,000. Check your orders at Cosmo Premium, My Orders, Order Information. Feel free to check on your order status at any time. Interastral Peace Appliances do better at strengthening management and risk control, improving service quality, and providing you with first-class service. We apologize for the negative experience you have encountered. Appendix order information for your confirmation. Order number 1659851 redacted. Delivery address: Herta Space Station. Coordinates: redacted, redacted. Receiver name: Asta. This order contains 1 type of merchandise in 10 packages. The full list of goods delivered is as follows. 1. Home Use Object Finder Richard Series Richie, version 17.93, custom model, annual collector's edition with charging dock, 10 by 10 units. Species of the Galaxy: Totanid, a research file about the inorganic organism Totanid. It is saved in the Department of Ecology. Galactic species serial number: inorganic number 27. Species name: Totanid. Cosmic nicknames: Electric Giant, Glowing Star Polyhedron, Respiring Boulder. Kingdom: inorganic organism. Class: Silica. Order: Monotectoid. Family: Petrogigas. Research summary. The homeworld of the Totanids is a planet plagued by catastrophic storms. It was said that tornadoes that pass through will destroy everything in its path, leaving only the strongest and most resilient lives. This species appears as a translucent crystal with an internal logic center called a thought monotectic. Two individuals of this species would communicate with each other by emitting electric signals through this organ. Their language, psyche, and history are unknown to the cosmos. In the era of the Mecha Wars, Totanids were loyal sidekicks to the Mechas. After their defeat, the Totanids were eradicated by organic creatures and became extinct. Totanids turn into mineral ores after their passing, and their past disease develop into splashes of colors within their bodies. The Toton planet thus became a cavernous, rocky planet blighted with storms. When the fires of war cleared, only a royal crown, which embodied the history of its monarchy, was left behind in the silent winds. Related curio. Unbearable weight. A curio kept within the confines of the space station, appearing as a crystal-encrusted crown. It is actually the imperial crown from the silicone-based lifeforms of the Toton planet, a living fossil of the monarchy's history. According to rumors, each deceased Totonid emperor will have their logic center embedded in this crown, composed of the logic centers of previous emperors. The Totanids believe this crown brings the wisdom of generations to its rulers. It is also the reason why the rulers of the Totanid have always been unusually large, heavy, and beautiful. In the past few Amber eras, there are scholars who believe that the crown actually stores racial memories and basic cells of the Totanids. They also believe that exposing the crown to moonlight would allow them to touch the buried history of the race. With the kindling of life from that aeon, this lost people of yesteryear can be given a rebirth. Recording. A fool's play. Calamity's wrath seeks olden clash. Fool's blade rends divine flesh. A book of music and lyrics about fool's play. It was converted from a tape. The recording tape is embedded in a spotless playback device. It is evident that the researchers have been diligently cleaning it. Push the playback button, and the sound of magnetic tape idling can be heard in the deep silence. Suddenly, the storyteller's gavel strikes, and the folding fan whooshes as a sing-song-like narration swells from afar. In the Elden Realm, the sun fleets and the moon creeps, and naught survives where the divine penalty sweeps. Alone, the divine light I shall sunder and pierce the imperial eclipse. In this eve, this is a tale I ought to impart. Calamity's wrath seeks olden clash. Fool's blade rends divine flesh. Those of you here must know that among this cosmos of thousand stars, there are aeons who care not the world and hide amongst their lands of peace, and the seven who inspire their foolish followers. In the mumbling prayers of these followers, the name of destruction is often heard. Hark! The divine power of unraveling skies and ravaged earth the word contains must lead the followers who dwell in violence. As if an insect swarm or the eclipse of the sun, this is the legion at which the cosmos recoil upon hearing the personification of destruction. The Ruin Author. Someone exclaimed, "Ruin Author? What is that?" Another replied softly, "Is it a code word? It feels related to the Legion." Someone else answered, "Mr. Storyteller is from Xianzhao. It must be their slang word for, of course, in most worlds, they are also called Nanook. It is said that this legion uses black holes as their furnace, yin and yang energies as their coal, and everything else as their copper. Under the command of Ruin Author and their follower, the Monarch of Extinction, the legion seeks purification of dead cold stars. From whence do they come? The answer is cosmic flood. For what purpose do they act? We do not know. I lament, for the Ruin Author's might is insurmountable and forceful of strength. I anger, for all against them seek also to fulfill their own selfish agenda. Against the cosmic forces that couldn't hold a candle to them, the Supreme Executioner finally recalled their homeworld where it was ruled by unjust power. They assembled a force of myriad Void Rangers to demand an answer from their past. Unfortunately, they were met with a surnameless fool guarding the portal, wielding a rapier with an extraordinary power. The fool dodged most skillfully, like a slippery fish in a pond or a flash of a falling star. The Ruin Author did battle with the fool for 7 days and 7 nights, and eventually, golden ichor seeped out of their divine body. This is the origin of that unhealed wound. Offstage, someone yelled, "For real? This is just something to fool the new people, isn't it?" A security department staff member stopped him. "Be quiet and let Mr. Storyteller finish." In an instant, space and time reversed, and the stars lost their shine, for the Ruin Author shifted away with his injury, and his legion scattered. How could observers from the rest of the cosmos just sit and watch the spectacle? They regarded the golden ichor as the ultimate object of desire. Some seek to steal it for making ichor-infused mead. Others seek to destroy it, to weaken the Legion's might. Yet another commented loudly, "That's right, exactly. I have heard this. It is rumored in a tavern somewhere in this cosmos that serves this mead on its menu. What was it called?" A reply came, "Bloody Mary?" That garnered a response. "Tisk. Lame." That person replied again, "It's called the Ruination Filament." The response, "Whoa, that's cool." At one point, an uproar followed the incident. The ignorant left snickering, and all returned to their busy lives. Among those who managed a share of the golden ichor, one hailed from this space station, our very own Nightfarer. His return caused many staff members to congratulate and revere him, but after pleasantries were made, his character changed. A terrible trouble is brewing. And for the next part of the story, come back next time. A commotion broke out in the hall. That's it? That's not enough. Not going to connect to the invasion of the Antimatter Legion, are you? The whole time this is a modern fantasy? Shut up and pay Mr. Storyteller. Come on. Continue. Continue what exactly? This is total hogwash with a strong opening and getting worse after each beat. I'm leaving. The well-kept secret of the maintenance department. The maintenance department's handwritten notes, which recorded the department's undisclosed secrets, were lost after the space station was attacked. A crumpled sheet of paper. The presence of various colored handwriting announces its popularity in the maintenance department. The best-kept secret of the maintenance department. Do not circulate. General purpose communication skills. Remember to keep calm and collected. Take extra deep breaths if needed. Thank you for waiting. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Frequently asked questions and most effective solutions. Motto: if something needs repairing, restart, reinstall, and upgrade. 1. Equipment not responding. Answer: restart, then restart again. It will definitely respond. Grumpy handwriting. There's this guy from the Department of Galactic Geopolitics. I asked him to restart and it worked for a couple of minutes. Then it broke again. So I took a look and this fellow has a few hundred programs opened at once, my stars. Fine handwriting. This solution is suitable for scenarios where the load is too high. 2. What do I do if restarting doesn't solve it? Answer: unplug the power source. Drain the remnant electrical charge. Then restart. Grumpy handwriting. Keep an eye on those researchers when draining electrical charge. Some of them get handsy. Don't ask me how I found out. 3. Consistent black screen issue. Answer: did they plug the device into the power source? If not, try charging the device, or change a new one. Fine handwriting. I was helping someone from Insight check their equipment yesterday, and they insisted the screen malfunctioned. It was later determined the hardware is normal. The only thing is, they didn't plug into the power source. I hope everyone in this department would take this as a learning experience. Weak handwriting. To add on, after checking if it's plugged in, don't forget to also check if they switched it on. 4. What to do if my data is missing? Answer: there is an automatic backup copy at the terminal. Check the terminal before jumping to conclusions. Fine handwriting. Note: accessing data with higher permission levels needs to be authorized by the lead researcher. Please apply for the authorization before accessing. Notification for physical examinations. Announcement of staff medical examination posted on the medical cabin. Dear colleagues, thank you for all of your contributions toward the development of the space station. To ensure your health and well-being, the annual health check in the space station has begun. The negative effects from the invasion of the Antimatter Legion are slowly dissipating. In order to better serve our colleagues on the space station at any given time, as well as to maintain everyone's mental health after the incident, the medical department has now launched a new health examination service. Aside from the regular physical examination, we have also upgraded the facilities to provide better counseling and mental health care services. Due to the partial restoration of the space station facilities and the limited capacity of the medical cabin, please make an appointment before coming for a medical checkup so that we can allocate a reasonable time slot and provide a good medical environment for you and your colleagues. Appointment booking. 1. Booking through terminals. Please utilize the various terminals in the space station and log on to the Herta space station staff system to book your appointment at the medical cabin interface. 2. Booking in person. Available at all times. Please register for an appointment with the help of medical cabin staff members on duty at the desk. Tips. After the booking is confirmed, you will receive a confirmation notification. Please remember to attend your session on time. If you need to cancel the booking, please log on to the Herta Space Station staff system at least 2 system hours before the session to do so, or cancel in person at the medical cabin. After canceling the appointment, the next appointment can be made at any time. Search results. 1. Each physical examination report will be generated in an electronic form within 36 system hours. The Herta Panopticon system will be sending out notifications around that time. Please remember to check your terminal services after the checkup. 2. If you have any questions regarding your examination results or require a medical consultation, please bring your staff identification card for confirmation purposes when you come in for the consultation. If you are unsure or have questions about the physical examination, feel free to contact the medical staff member on duty on the Herta Space Station staff system. Space Station Introductory Guide. An introductory guide for space station visitors. Older edition. Written by Madame Herta. Currently no longer distributed due to design issues. Welcome to Herta Space Station. If your pursuit for the limits of life had extended to the universe itself, or if you question whether the debate about universal truths had truly been settled, if you longed to reproduce the initial state of the cosmos, or if you obsess over symbols and scrolls, once again, welcome to Herta Space Station. Knowledge and answers can be found here within countless unknowns and novelties, and you will wield the matic to unearth the answers that you seek. However, in order to immerse yourself in the exciting process, a simple foundational step must be taken: becoming a research staff. If you who are currently reading this document are only an astronomic hobbyist, we apologize, as your exploration of the cosmos has ended when you began your journey. Please cherish your tour at the reception hall. This may be the closest you will ever get to knowledge and intellect. New edition, written by lead researcher Asta, the edition currently in circulation on the space station. Welcome to Herta Space Station. The secrets of the universe are a topic to which many scholars have dedicated their entire lives. They are complicated enough that they cannot be fully described in any language, yet so mundane that anyone can spot them in every nook and cranny. Whatever the case may be, the scattered life forms in the universe have jointly crafted a masterwork that is simply known as civilization. On the journey to pursue the scattered hints about the universe's true nature, we are inevitably drawn to the same guiding stars. Charming and enchanting, they have enticed many seekers of knowledge into dedicating their lives just for one glimpse of the truth. The Herta Space Station is a shaded walkway built along the path lit by those guiding stars. We pick up fragments of the lost symphony to reproduce the feast of a glorious past. We decipher the essence of unknown technologies to glimpse the dazzling gleam of civilization's crystallized wisdom. Scholars are boats that sail across the vast cosmos toward the ends of its expanse, and the answers silently waiting on the other side are the best motivations for our advance. We hope you will be able to immerse yourself in the allure of the unknown and the thrill of knowledge in the Herta Space Station. Entrance application. Please email us according to the template provided on our official website, and we will arrange a time for you to visit us. Due to the number of pending visitors, your request will be responded to within 100 180 working days. Areas open to visitors: Herta Space Station Space Elevator and Herta Space Station Reception Hall. Special note: each person will be allotted 30 minutes for the tour. Areas involving research are strictly off-limit. Herta Collection Room Code of Conduct. Terms and conditions for using the collection room. Although only Madame Herta can enter and use the collection room, even though it is only used by Herta, she still developed the rules for it. 1. The collection room is an important space in which curios are kept. Without permission, persons unrelated to this collection room are not allowed to enter or use any items in the room. Of course, even with permission, Madame Herta also has the power to revoke the permission at any time. 2. Items in the collection room must be managed by special personnel. Items that can be loaned out for exhibition or research must be used under the supervision and guidance of the core staff at all times and strictly abide by the operating rules. 3. The permit to exhibit any of the collection items will be evaluated by Madame Herta alone, and Madame Herta has the power to adjust the evaluation result at any time. 4. If the item in collection can bring about negative effects, its containment procedure must be strengthened. In the event it is without a safety procedure, the experiment may be terminated depending on severity. If the item in collection can bring about positive effects, its containment procedure must be strengthened even more to avoid the positive effects being leaked, benefiting those who do not deserve it. 5. When exiting the collection room, Madame Herta and other related security department personnel must be informed, and no hardware or software capable of monitoring or recording may be left in the room. 6. Madame Herta has the right to final interpretation of the aforementioned rules. Research report. Tatanid crystals. One of the researchers carried out a cross-border experiment on the Tatanid crystals, but due to negligence, the researcher made a mistake on the test sample, turning the experiment report into nothing but a useless paper. Title: A Brief Analysis of Media Literacy Quality Between Telecommunication and Tatanid Crystals. Report author: Department of Ecology Level 1 Researcher. Report number 04890. Report text. Life forms on the silicon-based world unveiled new ways of information transmission to us, and the waves in the interior of a Tatanid crystal is the best evidence of that claim. This study will attempt to explore that with reconstructed Tatanid crystal samples. The researcher placed 3 individual crystals into 3 vacuum containers to ensure the crystals will not be able to receive transmissions from each other through physical contact. Then, subject number 1 was connected to an electronic transducer before a preset message was input. The message includes 5 information points, of which 4 are genuine imperial history of the Tatanids, and 1 is a rumor regarding the Empire. After the transmission process is over, the researcher placed the 3 crystals in identical environments and observed the electrical signals of the crystals in real time for 24 hours. Data shows that subject number 1 first shared a piece of genuine history of the Tatanid monarchs, to which subjects number 2 and 3 responded positively. Then subject number 1 shared the piece of rumor about the Tatanid Empire and autonomously added details that the researchers did not input, causing the internal electrical signals in subjects 2 and 3 to fluctuate extremely. However, the 3 crystals quickly synchronized, exhibiting a high degree of resonance. The following are some examples of the messages between the crystals during the observation. Number 1. Do you know Mesfink? Number 2. No. Who is that? Number 1. It's only a rumor, but I heard this Mesfink is the offspring of Tatanid III. Number 3. Isn't Tatanid III's offspring Rosavank? They're famous for their wisdom. Number 1. That's why I said it's a rumor. Rosavank is the one above the table, and Mesfink is an illegitimate one. Number 3. What? No way. If it were real, there's no way Rosavank didn't find out, right? Number 2. Maybe Rosavank did find out. They just didn't expose this. Number 1. You know, maybe Mesfink is not only Tatanid III's offspring, but also Rosavank's. Author's note. The preset messages did not include this detail. It was added on by subject number 1 without prompting. Number 3. Oh my word. This is ridiculous, but it does sound like something the Imperial family would do. To summarize, the researchers believe that the Titanid crystals also experience differences between subjective perception and objective awareness during communication between individuals, and that the difference is most likely similar to that of carbon-based organisms. Further in-depth studies are requested to be approved. Supervisors comment, "My dear, I do not wish to deny this study's value and logicality. I believe that you are an outstanding researcher. However, there is an error with the transcoding of your Titanid crystal samples. One of the researchers accidentally included their own transcoded brainwaves during the output. This report is not completely useless, however. At least we now know that there is a need to pay attention to media literacy in the space station." An incomplete automatic transcript. 2 researchers left a few tapes about their curio experiment on the night of the Antimatter Legion's invasion. This document was translated from the recordings automatically. A series of noises seemingly indicating an electrical malfunction. 024. I told you during the last experiment that this device is problematic. 289. Stop speaking to me like you are my superior. We are both only entry-level researchers. If you really want to be at the same level as me, you wouldn't place your left hand at 3 centimeters from the keyboard. By the way, our standard safe operating distance allows only as close as 10 centimeters. Having lived to this age, you must have lived on a planet with a high level of civilization. Now I understand your insolence and forgetfulness. We have vastly different backgrounds after all. 289. Pass me a pair of tweezers. This looks like a strand of hair. Sound of footfalls and tools clanging. Hold the tweezers and don't get your fingers pricked, Cinderella. Our experiment this time should yield results. The strand of hair is a beautiful auburn. Speaking of, Cinderella pricked her finger on a spindle of a spinning wheel. 289's Fairy Tale 101 is in session, starring an orangutan with auburn hair. It may have used this typewriter during its lifetime and may have written countless touching fairy tales. Heavy thud. 024. It's okay if you don't want to help, but please do not make noise. Noise? You mean your speaking of lectures? A crisper knocking sound and the wall seems to crumble. 024, this is my last warning. Heed it, or I will file a report on how much noise you have been making today. 289. Stop pretending like you're an expert and trying to put the blame on me. All these noises came from you. That's funny. I don't have the capacity to join your childish blame game. You might as well say the Antimatter Legion invaded the space station. Aha, I've wanted to experience that for so long now. Then I could join the Legion and spear a hole in your stomach. 024. If it weren't for your low intelligence, I would have suspected the last few false positive invasion records on the obstacle detection terminal is your work. Metallic clangs getting louder. Looks like you do have some capability for action. Be honest, 024. Where did you get the dagger from? You didn't steal it from the storage, did you? 289. This dagger is not mine. Help. Smart classification on recording. Hashtag Antimatter Legion. Hashtag failed arm fight. Hashtag failed experiment. Hashtag low quality. Hashtag low quality reading. Researchers' memo notes. Notes that researchers in the space station use to leave messages to each other. Part 1. Dag nabbit, the password changed again. The password is redacted. Remember, the password is redacted. Which uncivilized person blacked out the password? Other people like us need it too. So what's the password now? Does anyone know? Part 2. Experimental results. Harmless. Suitable to be friends with. Data 4.0 to 4.2. Subject mentally well. Subject current status writing this report. Experimenter signature Drats. The researcher didn't tell me his name. Part 3. If you feel you can't complete your work, congratulations. At least you still retained an objective awareness of the external environment. What if I think I can do it? Hey, who scribbled on my note? You know, the medical cabin on the space station is pretty cutting edge. The fees are also borne by the IPC. Let me sincerely advise the 2 people above to seek help. Part 4. Sometimes, at night, the mysterious melon fairy will appear on the seed aisle and make the melon you planted about 3 times larger. However, if you only planted snap peas, she will seek you out and punch you. So far, I've only gotten punched, so I switched to planting melons. I hope she appears again. Update. The melon fairy in the seed aisle is fake news. That terrible person only said that because she was found out trying to steal my snap peas and punched me. I shouldn't have trusted her. Update 2. Dear friends, I am rescinding my statement before. The Melon Fairy is not a divine being because I did see her. She said she wanted to write my report for me. Hee. Another person's handwriting. Just stop. This is a hallucination caused by the hallucinogens from our department leaking into the fertilizer. Wake up. There will be no pretty Melon Fairy coming to help any of you complete your reports. Part 5. The cleaning robot with a bald patch in the base zone is peak AI. If you give it some tips, it will bring you to a malfunctioned restroom cubicle with all the rare curios it stole. A complete lie. That bald patch cleaning robot even has a shredder function. Who in tarnation gave it that function and wrote it down to prank people? It is even a printer. Friends, this is the Adminis cleaning robot, our station's specialty of efficient working. Part 6. The redacted keys between the redacted and redacted keys on this terminal have malfunctioned. I'm sticking a note here to inform everyone that this has been reported in the staff system and is awaiting technicians' repair. If you're passing by, take note. My research data is still inside. Do not touch. So why don't you just say which keys aren't working? Because those keys are not working. Feedback form for the space station staff cafeteria. A feedback form for the staff cafeteria in Herta space station. It contains comments and suggestions on the cafeteria's food, as well as feedback given by the cafeteria's intelligent robot. Question. We have been served dried earthworm for a week straight. Can we switch it up a little? Answer. Next week we will be serving them in the following flavors: tomato, courgette, grapefruit, etc. Side note, due to the stock issues on the supplier's end, we will be providing the cosmic fried rice at an irregular interval on a first-come, first-served basis. Question. Am I the only one who got diarrhea after having the synthesized meat? Answer. According to collected data, only you have displayed symptoms of this nature. You are welcome to come and try again. We will make sure to keep some samples for investigation. Question. I want to have eggplants. I want to have snap peas. I want to have cucumber. I want to have vegetables. Answer. You can apply for trials to try the newly developed veggie pills from one of the departments. Take one pill before the meal to experience the taste and texture of your chosen flavor when you're chewing any food. Known side effects include slight numbness in left leg and unknown disabilities in some lab rats. Please explore yourself for more information. Question. The crops in my experimentation field kept being stolen. Can the space station not ensure this little bit of anti-theft measures? Answer. Did you subscribe to the security dog function in the seed aisle? Copy the following code into your personal terminal, and the system will automatically generate a dog for you in the form of an ionization grid to protect your field. In normal life, it can also become your personal terminal assistant. Question. Don't believe in that stupid doggy function. Terminal assistant my foot. I asked it to transcribe the voice meeting for me, and it generated 12,000 woofs. Answer. You can click the play button to ensure another doggy that didn't attend the meeting understands the agenda of the meeting. Question. When can we have an AI manage feedback to the cafeteria? The current responder is obviously trolling. Answer. Sorry. I didn't quite get that. Can you please try again in another way? Fragment of a weekly report by a Department of Ecology researcher. A piece of paper ripped out of a weekly report. A piece of paper torn from somewhere. The numerous folding creases mark the rising and falling of the author's feelings. Herta System Week 118. Weekly Plan. Complete the in vitro expansion research on small molecule compound combinations. Weekly Progress. Can't find suitable compound materials. Only completed hypothesis proposal. Weekly Conclusion. No worries. It can be done next time. Herta System Week 119. Weekly Plan. Cooperate with the medical department and study the automated applications of magnetically controlled microstructure modulation in tissue regeneration. Weekly Progress. At 50%. Continuing. Weekly Conclusion. I didn't think Joanne would be able to do things strictly by the books and be so efficient. I made at least 5 operation mistakes this week. I need to learn from Joanne. Next time, Herta System Week 120. Weekly Plan. Cooperate with the medical department. Study the automated applications of magnetically controlled microstructure modulation in tissue regeneration, and complete the thesis. Weekly Progress at 75%. Department of Ecology end complete. Medical department end 0 progress. Weekly Conclusion. I heard Joanne was down with some kind of virus. Hope she's fine. Study temporarily suspended. Herta System Week 121. Weekly Plan. Cooperate with the medical department. Study the automated applications of magnetically controlled microstructure modulation in tissue regeneration and complete the thesis. Weekly progress at 75%. No new progress. Waiting on the medical department. Weekly conclusion. This Joanne, excuses galore, just doesn't want to work. Ha! What thesis? Procrastinating again. Ha ha ha. My study, my reports, my output. Why does the medical department continue to employ someone like this? Shameful. I will never work with her again. Herta System Week 122. Weekly Plan. Complete the in vivo analysis of homing mechanism of alien cells. Weekly Progress. The homing process of cells in the new microenvironment has been understood, and the underlying structure and principles of action need to be followed up. Weekly Conclusion. This time is essentially my own effort. But I didn't think Joanne has this kind of connection to acquire alien usher cells. She only has a little bit of wrapping up to do, so I'll help her out this time. Joanne is not too bad. Maybe her procrastination is a little serious, but she's still a kind person. Chat history between researchers. A chat history between two researchers right before the space station was attacked. The transcript of the chat has now been included in the investigation list of the security department. The device screen retains the casual conversation between two researchers during work before the space station was attacked. The level 2 researcher in the storage zone remains missing at the time of the security department initiated investigations. Some level 2 researcher. Hey, sometimes I really feel like I want to quit. Some level 4 researcher. Is it because that guy is harassing you again? I'll go find him in a few days. Some advanced researchers really are bullies. Some level 2 researcher. No, it's not as simple as just one person. Some level 4 researcher. Did they bring a group to ostracize you? I hate that kind of grouping cliques the most. This is no longer just for you. It's also involving my principles now. Some level 2 researcher. No, it's not really like that, but I really ran out of ideas. If I really can't deal with it, I might be demoted to the disposal site. Some level 4 researcher. We're brothers, alright? If you run into problems, I will help you even if I had to make some sacrifices. Some level 2 researcher. That's great. I knew you're different from all the other advanced researchers. It all comes down to not having enough budget to do many of the studies. Some level 4 researcher. Trust me. Every researcher who worked at Herta will have faced a problem like yours. I'll be honest, many young researchers wouldn't be able to make it through this issue. But you don't have to worry, because I will try my best to help you. These are my experience. Hope they can help you. Some level 2 researcher. I'm paying full attention. Some level 4 researcher. Firstly, the most important part. We need to maintain our original intention. As a researcher, we reject the idea of forming cliques. Those who seek fame and those who seek knowledge are different to the core. The core of what we do is to distinguish ourselves from external persuasions. Secondly, the funds. As the saying goes, good wine needs no bush. If you have the ability, you won't need to worry about the funds allocation. Let's look at the logic of allocating budget. The more results you contribute, the greater amount of funds you receive. So you just need to produce enough results to solve this issue. Some level 2 researcher. That's right, some level 4 researcher. Finally, how to obtain results. Beginner researchers would inevitably take the path with more twists and turns, so the best way to avoid that is to join a project with an existing framework or two. I told you I will help you to the best of my abilities. It just so happens that I have a major project that passed the review board. If it succeeds, funds would be the least of your problems. However, there's another group of fame seekers who are trying to rob me of the core researcher title. I don't care about the title, naturally, but I didn't expect the results of the selection would have an impact on the progress of the project. I'm already behind on the core researcher voting selection, but if we put in some effort to vote, I might still have a chance. I'll send you a link. It'll automatically recognize your researcher ID so you don't have to log in manually. Are you still there? One missed call. Tautonids are rocks. A sharp comment on tautonids by an official from the Department of Cosmic Geography. On the device's screen is a "You have been blocked" prompt. indicating that this message was not sent successfully to the researcher of the unbearable weight curio. I heard you are the expert on cosmic biodiversity, so I would like to present to you a few questions I have been asking myself. I hope your answers will bring some enlightenment to my path. Before this, I have, through various formal and informal meetings, spiritually infused, and regular fiber paper letters, participated in passionate debates on whether Titanid are silicon-based life forms or just rocks. However, there are still questions that beg to be answered. As we know, the discipline in which you operate has defined Titanids as silicon-based life forms that communicate with internal electrical signals. However, they have already become extinct through the long amber eras, leaving behind only a crown encrusted with the thought monotectic of past monarchs, the curio unbearable weight. Excuse my ignorance, but I have a few questions. 1. Since Titanids allegedly communicate with electrical signals, no one in this cosmos would be able to decipher their thoughts, language, or history. So then you can claim that said electrical signal exists, but I can also claim that said signal does not exist. How can we determine its falsifiability? 2. Since it is not falsifiable, maybe the racial history of the Titanids was just a fabrication of the history fictionologists since the beginning. 3. In this space station, aside from specific individuals, most researchers don't usually step out of the comfort of their labs, and therefore there had been no one who traveled to planet Totan to verify and study this claim. Simply obtaining a crystal crown and a grand history that is, again, unverifiable had determined that the Titanids are life forms with a long cultural history. Isn't this going against the criteria of research? 4. In the interdisciplinary summit in the space station, the Department of Cosmic Geography listed the mineral composition of the unbearable weight in a detailed report and defined it as a rare mineral cluster. However, the Department of Ecology named it a thought monotectic construct of an extinct race and claimed the curio as their own. This, in my humble opinion, is no different than that of a pirate. After much thought and many restless nights, I have decided that I cannot bear the thought of your good name being sullied due to misguided curio categorization. I also could not bear the thought of my discipline being stampeded under the strong-arming ways of the Department of Ecology. The reason for my composing of this letter and my blathering is merely so that I can convey 3 sentences, which are, Titanids are fucking rocks. Titanids are fucking rocks. Titanids are fucking rocks. Signed, a straightforward Department of Cosmic Geography researcher. The Curl Academy Guidelines. The guidelines for the Curl Academy on the space station contains very subjective views. Association name, Herta Curl Academy. Association guidelines. Modern science progresses at a rapid pace, while humanity's self-determination approaches at a snail's pace. We have a duty as researchers to help others identify our department more easily, and so we have shed part of our personal flair, our outfits. We should strengthen our personalities in different ways rather than cliché clothes. We believe that our heads evolved to grow out of the tops of our torsos, not simply because they contain the brain. They must play a vital role, that of identification. Therefore, grooming your own personal hairstyle is a key step in mastering your identity. This is the only way to bring a whiff of humanity beneath the stench of science aboard the space station. Association motto, sculpt daily, condition weekly, and strengthen monthly. Association goals, mainly aimed at the researchers and staff aboard the Herta space station, to nurture everyone's unique vibe, to rapidly respond to crises, to master meticulous perming technique, and to deliver a steady stream of fashionable hairstyles for the whole universe. Update notes for Master Capote's Life Wiki version 12.0. Content that is regularly updated by Capote's diehard fans mostly consists of a log of Capote's daily behaviors. The following is a transcript of a recording. Capote, come on, Captain Arlen. You have to get into the role, Arlen. I'm sorry, Professor. I just can't think of you as an overbearing boss. Close your eyes and try to feel it. After all, this is your trial of the heart. Listen to my instructions, and let's try again. Ahem. Arlen, come to my office. Time waits for no one, and every minute of my time is precious. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm coming over right away. Wrong. Big mistake. Captain Arlen, you can't just be so submissive. If you were tasked with something beyond your scope of work, would you also take off immediately like you just did? Oh dear. If you want to learn how to handle an overbearing boss, it looks like your heart is going to have to put in some serious training. Arlen's work log. A note recording Arlen's work in the last fortnight. Last week's review. 1. Cleared away the remnants of the Antimatter Legion. 2. Confirmed which devices need updating and replacement in the planning zone. 3. Records for handling emergency requests for help from researcher. 4. Played holodisc with Peppy. 5. Signed for and organized ladies' courier deliveries. 6. Collected and sorted feedback about last week's drinks and snacks, plus worked out a corresponding optimization plan. 7. Screened Peppy's new toiletries for the next quarter. Weekly work plan. Of the heart, of the mirror, of the self. Adler's research report on ghost stories. The research report written by Adler, a member of the Department of Implement Arts. It records all kinds of ghost stories of the Herta space station. Part 1. Rowdy Security Door. During one Amber Era, Herta space station welcomed a fateful researcher. He quietly made a vow to devote the rest of his life's effort on the space station to the pursuit of unique scientific research results. Unfortunately, the rest of his life turned out to be longer than expected, perhaps even amounting to eternity. We know not what sort of experimental accident he faced at the time, but we can confirm that this accident was a necessary prerequisite for the story that follows. To deduce past events, you might need to use a little imagination. Perhaps it was a curio capable of mental projection, or perhaps the project he was working on was itself related to the topic of mental projection. He pushed the button with anticipation, thinking that the data he had dreamed of would appear on the screen, but what he did not expect was the beginning of a tragedy. The security department records show that among the accidents that have occurred in the space station, there have been many deaths of researchers, but not once has there been a clear record of a researcher disappearing into thin air. But his body did, in fact, disappear, and no one knows where he went. Moreover, no one had any records of his experience. Perhaps to this day, a shadow of it still remains in the dust of the space station. What a cruel twist of fate. He completed the final step of the experiment by himself. His mind was completely projected into an object. Just imagine, what kind of experience would it be if you could only observe what's happening in front of you, but couldn't interact with it or act in line with your own thoughts? The answer: it's torture. The mind is trapped in a prison, but what do the thoughts represent? What kind of receptacle can carry formless thoughts? Nobody knows the answer. However, this casts a shadow over the space station. Who would like to have a cup filled with a human's negative thoughts instead of piping hot coffee? A researcher responded that he had heard strange noises near the security door of the department. He described the sound as a shrill, incessant wailing, like the cries of some strange creature. My assistant and I quickly completed the interview and investigation and visited the mysterious and rowdy security door again. However, the situation was regrettable for everyone there. We did not find any suspicious phenomenon, nor any evidence that could support the theory of mental projection. Under the relentless, in-depth investigation of my assistant and I, we finally found a lone Wubbaboo near the security door who kept making woo-woo sounds. However, one of the researchers in their exhaustion mistook this for crying, which eventually led to this wild goose chase. The author hereby requests, ghost stories need to be debunked, and work needs to be moderated. See you next time. Part 2. Vanished Toilet. Author's note: I didn't expect everyone to like my ghost story compilation so much. Thank you everyone for your support. In the future, I will dig deeper with my assistant to bring you a different reading experience. In addition, I also carefully looked over everyone's opinions in the comments section, and many readers expressed that they did not like my writing style. I'll make adjustments in this story. You are also welcome to leave your thoughts in the comments section. If a toilet suddenly appears in front of you, do you have the courage to step up and flush it? Several days ago, I received a special submission. Due to the request of the contributor, it is inconvenient to disclose the specific details. The only thing that can be revealed is that this is a letter from an eyewitness of the ghost story, and the experience of the story is also novel, never before seen content. By interviewing the eyewitness, my assistant and I pieced together the full picture of the ghost story. If you press the flush button of the mysterious toilet that suddenly appears at the end of the corridor, you will lose consciousness and be taken to a mysterious room. Since my assistant and I were unable to find the mysterious toilet, it was impossible to explain the mechanism of bodily transportation, but we did visit that mysterious room. The moment I opened the door, I was actually full of fear and apprehension. Could it be a trap? Or maybe it was a place for some of the space station's under-the-table activities. Alas, in order to reveal the truth to my friends and readers, I went in. It turned out that it was just an ordinary room, and there was a researcher from the Department of Implement Arts who was trying to track down the toilet. Rather, its correct name was Experiment 13. After patiently talking with the researcher, the full story was uncovered. The mysterious toilet was a curio borrowed by the Department of Implement Arts for a confidential experiment, codenamed Experiment 13. Due to a mistake by the researcher in the experiment, Experiment 13 caused all kinds of rumors throughout the space station. But is that the whole truth behind the researcher's explanation? Or is it some kind of conspiracy? Or maybe the answer is left to you to write in the comment section. Everyone is welcome to discuss this topic of space station ghost stories. The theme is Press My Flush. Have the pen to yourself. Part 3. Hiatus Notice. I regret to inform readers that this account will cease updating content indefinitely. Due to personal reasons, I am unable to continue serializing the follow-up content of this report. At the same time, I hereby solemnly declare that the content published on this account is adapted by the author based on the rumors in the space station. Please understand it does not have any scientific rigor, nor does it represent the views of the author toward participation in any experimental project. Finally, I would like to thank everyone for your love and support throughout the run of this report. Curio Management Log. A Curio Management Log written by Asta. It is made public at the station's terminals for all researchers to peruse. Part 1. Profile number 021. Curio designation Astro Rod. Remarks. Only as a collection item. Research application is forbidden. Curio Profile. A tool invented by Herta researchers to explore the geological structure of alien planets. Mainly made of the 108th elemental metal from a deceased planet. Its body emits a glowing blue radiance, appearing as if the user is holding nothing. The sensor at the end points to where the user came from and guides them on the way back. No matter how hard the geological structure of the planet is, just gently insert the rod into the surface of the planet and it can analyze a great deal of geological data. It is a sacred object in the eyes of those researchers who are fascinated with the study of planetology. Related studies. 1. Chadwick. Department of Cosmic Geography Level 2 Researcher. History and future projection of Astrorod's development. 2. MISA, Department of Cosmic Geography Level 2 Researcher. The Astro Rod's developmental history and current state. Researcher notes. The Astro Rod. I've heard of it even before stepping foot in the space station, and now I finally can see it in its physical form. Wen Shiling, Department of Implement Arts. An Astro Rod is said to be the gift that best represents someone's love. An Astro Rod can point her in the direction she desires and can tell her my feelings for her. A name omitted. Department of Cosmic Geography. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Bernard, Department of Cosmic Geography. Profile number 056. Curio designation, Light of the Stars defunct. Remarks. The Curio has been damaged during the invasion of Antimatter Legion. Do not submit research applications. Curio profile. A tiny, pristine, and well-decorated box. The container itself is clean and flawless, and it has 9 mini drawers on each of its 4 faces, not including the top and the bottom faces. Within each drawer is a luminescent crystal that corresponds to a color on the starlight spectrum. Currently only contains parts of its original pieces as the Curio is yet to be fully restored. Related studies. 1. Sarah, Department of Insight Level 4 Researcher. An examination on clues about aeons conveyed in light of the stars via spectral imaging technology. 2. Department of Implement Arts Level 2 Researcher. A study, denoising stellar images of light of the stars. Researcher notes, I'm so upset. Only 2 studies before it's my turn and the Legion destroyed it. Emily, Department of Insight. Why does the Department of Insight like studying this thing so much? For all I care, you all are the reason that it's defunct. Name omitted. Department Department of Implement Arts. Profile number 148. Curio designation, Crack Up Conch. Remarks, do not expose to water. Curio profile, a polished conch, covered in a pattern of planetary rings. Hold it to your ear to hear distant jokes told in the conch. As long as you can hold back from laughing, you can slowly obtain the power offered by the being within the conch. Those who try to gain power in this way will eventually die in a depression of unmatched intensity. Legend says 3 previous users are still alive and living in seclusion. Related studies, asterisk. Due to outdated research data, the Crack-Up Conch will be reconditioned in the near future. All related papers are currently disabled. Please stay tuned. Researcher notes. Thank you, Magical Conch. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know what to do when I feel down. Mayor, Department of Insight. What is wrong with this thing? Why does it keep trash-talking me? My blood pressure is through the roof. Just how is it de-stressing? Wen Shichi, Department of Implement Arts. Let's just change its name and call it Crack Up Conch, parentheses, corrupted. At Lead Researcher Asta. When will this be updated? Joanne, Medical Department. Part 2. Profile number 269. Curio designation Joy Filtration Set. Remarks. Need to contain in an airtight, non-oxygenated environment. Curio profile. A set of 21 small portable devices are individually packed in cubes with special materials. These devices come in all shapes and sizes, ranging from voice recorders, micromotors, tie clips, drinking glasses, notebooks, and more. Joy and joy-adjacent emotions can be identified and collected using different devices. Related studies. 1. Rolana, Department of Implement Arts Level 2 Researcher. A simple analysis of the emotion recognition logic implemented within the Joy Filtration Set. 2. Mishi, Department of Cosmic Geography Level 3 Researcher. A report on Joy Filtration Set's internal storage medium wavelength. Researcher notes. When can we successfully extract the emotions from the Joy Filtration Set and implant it in my brain? Name omitted, Department of Insight. Commenter above. If you are already putting your hopes of experiencing happiness in this, might I suggest you place an appointment with the medical department for their counseling services. Rosemary, Service Department. Profile number 458. Curio designation, unbearable weight. Remarks. Please attach a completed personal intellect assessment form before applying to use the Curio. Curio profile. A crystal-encrusted crown. The imperial crown from the silicon-based life forms of the Tosan planet. A living fossil of the monarchy's history. The life forms of this race have clear crystal bodies. They think and communicate through internally generated electrical signals. When a Totanid dies, it becomes pure mineral. Illnesses in its body turn it brightly colored. Each deceased Totanid emperor will be embedded in this crown of laurels composed of the remains of previous emperors. The Totanids believe this crown brings the wisdom of generations to its rulers. It's also the reason why the rulers of the Totanid have always been unusually large, heavy, and beautiful. Related studies. 1. Silurite, Department of Ecology Level 3 Researcher. A review of studies involving the genetic revival of the Totanids. 2. Shaylin, Department of Ecology Level 2 Researcher. Establishment of an interaction inverse model of the unbearable weight and its optimization. Researcher notes. Why are there so many Department of Ecology researchers working on this? Wen Shichi, Department of Implement Arts. Can the person in charge of the Department of Implement Arts assign something to this person who has nothing to do? He had been leaving pointless comments in several Curios profiles already. Name omitted, Department of Ecology. Profile number 752. Curio designation, rating pistol. Remarks. Requires containment within non-refractive material. Curio profile. While it may have the appearance of a common forehead thermometer, the rating pistol also has a slightly closed eye on it, which will rapidly spin around a few times antagonistically as you pick it up. Use it on ordinary items and, with a beep sound, you will see that pom-pom is 1 point, Himeko 9 points, the lab's glass doors 10 points, and the cosmic bouquet 2 points. March 7th cannot be rated by this device. As for the internal reasoning behind its rating system, every researcher aboard the space station has their own theory, which could have been compiled into a whole book called Study on the Rating System of the Rating Pistol. Related studies. Unknown. Department of Unknown. I'll give it a go. Unknown. Department of Unknown. New entry logged. Silverwolf. 100 points. Researcher notes, I know Himiko, but which department is Pom Pom from? How do they only get 1 point? And who's marked 7th? Edmund, Security Department. These are all written by lead researcher Asta. Might be someone she knows. Wen Shiling, Department of Implement Arts. What? How did garbled text get into this file? Did the terminal get infected by some virus again? Joanne, Medical Department. Part 3. Profile number 1381. Curio designation. Total eclipse of the heart. Remarks. Contain in vacuum. Do not activate. Curio profile. A conical device made by an unknown polished rock. When the central cones are perpendicular to each other, the device enters a dormant state. When the cones are parallel, the device is activated. When activated, any object that crosses the outer ring will be corroded and disintegrated into basic particles. The device is usually used to disintegrate waste products on the space station and transmute them into usable materials for the different departments. One thing to note is that once the number of objects disintegrated exceeds a certain point, the corrosion area will expand and will cause an observable negative reaction to the psyche of organic life forms. Do not activate without written permission from the space station. 1. Esther, Department of Insight Level 4 Researcher. Personas and Shadows, a study of psychological impact from cone corrosion to aeon projection. 2. Lamina, Department of Ecology Level 3 Researcher. The effect of brain bioelectric methods and cross-species microcomputer connectivity on the efficacy of brain rehabilitative therapy. Researcher notes, what happens when someone's psyche has been corroded? Will it awaken some kind of personality? Has anyone tried it? Reply please. Lukacs, Department of Galactic Geopolitics. After you get corrupt, your name will get a corrupted label on the terminal. Name omitted. Maintenance Department. Profile number 1984. Curio designation. Door to a new world. Remarks? Unknown. Curio profile. A teleportation device that the Department of Implement Arts acquired by chance. The shape is consistent with the common toilet seat, with a ceramic textured surface and a complete flushing system. The mechanism of action is unknown for the time being, and no significant side effects have been reported after the teleportation is completed. However, due to personal constitution, symptoms such as dizziness and vomiting may occur after repeated use in a short period of time. Rumors like, bury your head in a toilet and flush it, and you will open a door to a brand new world, was once widely circulated on a certain planet, and the existence of this machine confirmed the authenticity of some of the rumors. Related studies. The redacted experiment using Door to a New World and its data is not available to the public for the time being, according to the request of the Department of Implement Arts. Researcher notes, I've stuck my head in this thing, but why did I not end up in a new world? Name omitted. Department of Cosmic Geography. The researcher in the comment above. You don't seem very sharp. You shouldn't put your head inside. You should be sitting on it and flush. Adler, Department of Ecology. Profile number 2691. Curio designation, Energy Black Hole. Remarks. Do not expose to food items. Activate the heating mode of the space station's thermostat system before utilizing the Curio. Curio profile. A heater fueled by some kind of clean energy. It was once used as an electric pancake pan by an IPC trade commissioner. Note. Attempted. After being spotted by a Department of Implement Arts researcher, it was brought to the space station. The patterns on the surface of the heater was ascertained by the Department of Insight to be the crest of an anonymous family and the name of a person suspected of being redacted Landau. The heating function of the heater is non-functional and non-responsive to any fuel inserted. According to the current observation record, the heater will actively absorb heat energy from surrounding objects, and excessive exposure to it can cause hypothermic reactions to homeothermic animals. P.S. A joint experiment from the Department of Implement Arts and Service has shown that the energy that the heater can absorb does not in fact include caloric energy from food items. Related studies. 1. Thaler, Department of Implement Arts Level 2 Researcher. Thermodynamic properties and matter accretion properties of black holes. 2. Adler, Department of Implement Arts Level 2 Researcher. A new perspective on population growth and explosion, organic populations and black holes. Researcher notes, what? Not for heating food. So what can this be used for? This touches on the blind spot in my cognition. Mayor, Department of Insight. Nonsense conclusion. That experiment was not rigorous at all, and the 0-calorie decision was unnecessarily stringent. Look, as long as it was not listed on the package itself, the food inside would come up to 0 calories. The Department of Implement Arts knows jack shit. Name omitted. Department of Ecology. Face of 14 Illusions. A confession letter from an anonymous Knight of the Beauty. Face of 14 Illusions. Abandoned confession of a Knight of Beauty. If my mind had not been clouded by the evil hand of fate, I would have perceived all the allure of the senses and the yearnings of the spirit. I perceive that your words and actions make you truly exist, your countenance and blade flowing with blood and passion unseen by the world. I admire all the grace bestowed upon your noble nature, hidden in the darkness of the armor but deeper than the heart. Perhaps yearning to see you, I caught a glimpse in visions, burning with rigorous penance to elevate your nobility. Blind loyalty would reclaim you from all lands and kingdoms. Fearlessness veils our shy eyes more than any shroud. Our commandments of sonnet test our resolve like the breath of a louse. How I wish you could know my devoutness. How I wish you could know my longing. How I wish you could know my fervor. Genius Society. Research results. A manuscript left by an individual who prefers to remain anonymous. It is written to evaluate the achievements of the various Genius Society members with no conclusion. Are some geniuses better than others? Even if we listed down all the achievements of the number 83 Herta, number 81 Ruan Mei, and number 76 Screwlum, we could hardly decide which among them is the best. Number 2 Harold Punch and number 3 Neol Iman established the Genius Society in a garage, but they had a turbulent friendship tainted with rivalries and arguments. I once suspected they were competing with each other to prove which one was better. Thankfully, the Simulated Universe project has created a temporary stability, but who knows whether this stable triangle will crumble with the addition of new members. Oh, I almost made a mistake. It should be a quadrangle, including number 84, Stephen Lloyd. Remnants of Ron May's diary. Pages torn from Ron May's diary, with brief notes on her recent research topics. Page 1. I borrowed the phase flames kindling from Herta. Number 29 Circle's creations have greatly inspired me, and I also wish to create more innovative life forms. Page 2. I can't find that fire anymore. I hope Circle won't hate me for that. Ruan May's lab log. An incomplete lab log, it is a precious record Ruan May made during her research. Number 92. Research objective. Create a life form of absolute rationality. Research result. It stayed motionless and eventually died of insanity. Reason for failure. Life and absolute rationality appear to be incompatible. Number 524. Research objective. Nurture number 8 Lambda. Research result. Number 8 Lambda smiled and then disappeared. Reason for failure. Number 8 Lambda seemed unwilling to come back. Number 1024. Research objective. Create a life form with a distributed existence. Research environment. An accelerator and a special incubator. Research method. Bombard a fragmentum creation with high energy particles to split it into multiple life forms in the quantum state. Research procedure. Accelerate high energy particles and bombard the confined experimental subject until it splits. Feed it fruits blessed by abundance to sustain its life until the splitting is complete. Expected result. The subject will become a distributed life form that can exist at multiple locations simultaneously. The information gained by any one of its split forms would be passed on to all other split forms. Research result. The subject obliterated itself after 123 seconds. Reason for failure. Intense sadness was detected by the emotion detector. The subject seemed to discern some sort of truth after receiving excessive information. It was overwhelmed by sadness and chose to end itself by its own will. However, the particles it left behind are still singing at the volume of an atom. Subject disposal. Confidential. Number 1732. Research objective. Create life forms that are natural-born geniuses. Research environment. Special incubator. Research method. Mix, stir, and heat. Research materials. Enlightenment, practice, and starquakes. Add the 3 materials at a ratio of 1 to 1 to 1 to make the intellect substrate. Other materials. Genius traits, including but not limited to Planet Screwlum's unique machine oil, Yu Ching Tu's poisonous cocktail, circles spider silk, fragments of Herta puppets, and number 22 Aiden's handwriting. Research procedure. 1. Optimistic genius. Add 2 spoonfuls of Planet Scrollum's unique machine oil. 2. Pessimistic genius. Add 3 drops of number 55 Yuchin 2's poisonous cocktail. 3. Anxious genius. Add the extract of number 29 Circle's spider silk. 4. Aggressive genius. Add the fragments of Herta puppet. 5. Altruistic genius. Add the ink extracted from number 22 Aiden's handwriting. Expected result. Add traits of the different geniuses into the intellect substrate to create life forms with the corresponding trait. Research result. Failed. Reasons for failure. 1. The concentration of genius trait within the subject is too low, highly likely. 2. The geniuses are mediocre, highly unlikely. 3. Too much enlightenment was added during the experiment, causing the subjects to develop a tendency to imitate their creator. Unlikely. 4. The genius materials gathered by the creator were counterfeit. Highly unlikely. Subject disposal. To be shelved or sealed after collecting them together. Number 1733. Date, redacted, star calendar. Research objective, nurture the emanator of propagation. Research environment, special incubator. Research method, smelt redacted and inject the redacted extract into the protoplasm. Research materials, redacted, the beginning and end of the swarm disaster, and data left behind by the Imperator Insectorum. Other materials, memory bubbles, planar fragments, simulated aeons protoplasm, and spore mimicry. Research procedure, using planar fragments as the substrate, add memory bubbles, simulated aeons protoplasm, and spore mimicry. Then, extract the energy from the path of propagation from the swarm disaster data. Lastly, drop in the data left behind by the Imperator Insectorum into the substrate. Expected result. The cloned emanator of propagation will be born and exist for 56 seconds. Research result. Successful. The subject obliterated itself after 56 seconds. Subject disposal. Self-obliteration. Department of Ecology's Plant Cultivation Program. A list that contains the plants to be cultivated by the Department of Ecology. The next batch of rare plants to be cultivated has been sent from all over the cosmos and is expected to arrive at the space station next month. After this plant rotation, the soil and water sources will be thoroughly replaced and sterilized. Please store the seeds properly for future use. Cultivation objective. To detect the effect of space radiation on the mutation of plants and explore new plant grafting and hybridization methods. Cultivation method. Scepter of Sacrifice and Dream Break require special care and companionship, while others can be grown conventionally in soil. Introduction to the plants in this issue. Buchanry. The mop-shaped flowers emit a strong and persistent stinky odor. Once you get used to it, your sense of smell will be distorted and the odor will make you feel happy. There have been cases of elation believers turning into human bioweapons due to the excessive cultivation of buchanry flowers. Now, private cultivation of buchanry has been banned due to air pollution concerns. Dream Break. A slow-growing giant plant that is said to be able to summon spirits of the dead to dwell beneath its leaves. Those who can afford it plant it next to the grave of a loved one. Then, they will sleep underneath the plant to meet with the deceased. In fact, the pheromones released from the plant could trigger specific dreams. Further research is necessary. Scepter of Sacrifice. The shape of this plant resembles a scepter, and its petals are an important item needed for a long-lost ancient divination. Only 3 petals can be picked at one time. If you pick more than that, the plant will remember your scent. The next time you approach it, it will scream and beat you up with its tip. Island Dusk Shroom. A mushroom with rich and intricate colors and is covered in stripes. For some reason, it always gives off a gloomy and despondent aura that can make you feel uncontrollably dizzy when you come near it, as though you are free-falling. Anyone who consumes it will be able to keep secrets. Check fruit. It can bear fruits that sparkle like ice crystals. The fruit will absorb heat before it ripens, resulting in a rapid dip in its surrounding temperature. If 2 people consume the fruit simultaneously, their consciousnesses will be linked. Warning. 1. Please keep the Scepter of Sacrifice sealed in the thickest incubator possible, or its screams will be heard throughout the entire space station. 2. Don't follow the faint glow emitted by island dusk shrooms in darkness. It will lead you to death. 3. Don't touch the check fruits. Your consciousness could be devoured by another person who might be a total stranger who has also eaten the fruit. Warning. A warning notice posted by the Department of Ecology in the greenhouse. The unique plants grown here have not undergone a comprehensive safety test. Any unauthorized contact might lead to unthinkable consequences. The following adverse reactions have been identified. 1. Hallucinations, such as seeing mini-sized people with bubbles on their heads, an Aeon riding a trotter, credits floating all over the sky, and snacks crawling around on the ground. 2. Sudden personality changes, commonly manifested as a sudden urge to reveal secrets to colleagues or managers. 3. Intracognitive dissonance. If you see yourself as a rice cooker or a ballpoint pen, do not doubt the fact that you are in grave danger. 4. Fabricating things confidently, such as non-existent warning notice and a made-up adverse reaction. Given the dangerous nature of the plants, please stay away from them and seek help from the space station if you exhibit the above adverse reactions or other abnormalities. Otherwise, you'll become a happy pen, just like me. I ride on a trotter, I grab credits that keep raining down from the sky, and I feast on those snacks with legs. Extracts of Comprehensive Snack Recipe, a recipe book with annotations written by Ruan Mei. Her handwriting is as graceful as her demeanor. Preamble. This recipe book compiles the finest snacks from various galaxies and divides them into 7 categories: buns, dumplings, cakes, pastries, rolls, pancakes, and flaky pastries. Apart from traditional recipes, this book also features innovative and cross-genre new dishes. Each recipe comes with detailed instructions suitable for beginners and professionals alike. Purchased on Redacted Ruan Mei. Plum-scented soybean cake. Main ingredients: falling plum blossoms seen while in regret. Powder of sugared plums wrapped in paria. Soybean. Additional ingredient: melted snow on aged plum blossom petals, which must be shaken off by a maiden's hand into a flower pot and buried in soil for more than a year. Seasoning: a soft singing voice and a poem from a disheartened poet. Instructions: wash and soak the soybeans, then add the melted snow and grind into a paste. Stir in sugar and powder of sugared plums wrapped in paria. While singing softly, fry the mixture until it dries and knead it into a ball. Put it into a mold and let it cool. Then, press several fallen plum blossoms on it and wrap it in parchment paper with the disheartened poem printed on it for storage. Flavor: it has a mouth-watering aroma and a lingering aftertaste. Note: this recipe is complicated and takes 1 year to prepare. It is recommended to enjoy the snack with a tea brewed with rainwater during the season when the plum blossoms are in bloom. This snack is elegant and I love it. Steamed sugar custard. Made ingredients: fresh milk, sweet fermented rice wine, 3 portions of good mood, and a gust of summer night's breeze. Additional ingredients: 15 grams of rock sugar, 5 grams of almond slices. Instructions: boil fresh milk with rock sugar and add 3 portions of good mood. Strain it and leave it to cool in the summer night breeze. Pour the sweet fermented rice wine into the fresh milk and stir evenly. Steam it for about 15 minutes. Let it cool and set. Sprinkle almond slices on top, then refrigerate for 3 hours to set. Flavor: soft, aromatic, and rich. Perfect for summer. Lotus root osmanthus cake. Main ingredients: old lotus root, flour. Additional ingredients: lover's sweet nothings, osmanthus flowers. Instructions: slice the old lotus roots, soak them in water for 3 days, crush them and extract the juice, then strain it. Pour it into the water and heat it using the stove of honesty until it becomes lotus root powder. Then, mix the lotus root powder with flour, white sugar, osmanthus flowers, and sweet nothings from lovers. Stir well and let it set. If you don't have lover's sweet nothings, you can use white sugar as a substitute. Flavor: chewy, with the robust aromas of osmanthus and lotus root. It was common when I was little, but the authentic ones are rarely seen nowadays. Pearl popping xiaolongbao. Main ingredients: fermented dough, cabbage, trotter eyes. Additional ingredients: spring onion and ginger water. Seasoning: sugar, light soy sauce, and oyster sauce. Instructions: slice and chop the cabbage finely. Then, add a little light soy sauce and oyster sauce to the tapioca pearls. Add the onion and ginger juice, then stir and marinate for 15 minutes. Add the cabbage slices to the trotter eyes. Mix until the mixture is firm, then set it aside. Knead the fermented dough, roll it into round xiaolongbao skins, put the filling inside, and steam them in a steamer over high heat. When the water boils, switch to low heat. Once you turn off the heat, let it simmer for 2 to 3 minutes before opening the steamer lid. Flavor: the xiaolongbao skin is chewy, and the filling is tasty with the perfect balance of savory and sweet flavors. It tastes even greater with milk tea. The graceful yet solemn ellipses has a hint of doubt and incredulity. Stargazer's Pie. Main ingredients: galactic indigenous fish, the gaze of innocent eyes, the screams of ignorant fools. Additional ingredients: hard-boiled eggs, potatoes, onions, and bacon. Seasoning: olive oil, chicken stock, red wine, and cream. Instructions: clean the fish, remove its internal organs, and cut off its head and tail to use later. Cut the rest of the fish into half and stuff it inside the crust. Dice the onions and potatoes and slow cook them in chicken stock and cream before pouring them into the crust. Add the gaze of innocent eyes and bake it with the screams of ignorant fools for half an hour before serving. Flavor: creamy and milky taste, rich in fat. A must-have at gatherings. Note: let's do stargazing together. This is getting weird. The Nature of Emotion, a Physiological Analysis. A paper by an unknown author that delves into the physiological origins and mechanisms of expression regarding emotions. Author: redacted. Correspondence address: redacted. Bering Lane, Mechanical City, Planet Screwlum. Summary: emotion is the most mysterious phenomenon among all existences. For a long time, we were not clear about the essence behind the presence of emotions. By conducting a physiological analysis of various life forms in the universe, this article attempts to answer the challenging yet significant question: what are emotions? Keyword: emotion, physiology. 1. Human emotions. Before moving to Planet Screwlum, I met Emma, an unusual brain cancer patient. She became a changed person after having her tumor removed. From being enthusiastic and active, she transformed into an antisocial, irritable, and aloof person. Intellectual-wise, she was not affected, and she remained an excellent college lecturer. Yet, she could no longer handle her teaching work. After a thorough examination, I found that Emma's reasoning, memory, attention, and other cognitive abilities were not impaired. Still, she had problems feeling and reacting to things that happened to her. In other words, she was suffering from a severe emotional disorder. By analyzing these data, we can draw a firm conclusion that the existence of human emotions is reliant on certain bodily tissues. Fear is associated with the amygdala and resentment with the insula. The expression and regulation of emotions are controlled by the prefrontal cortex, while empathy and remorse are related to the insular cortex and cingulate cortex. So, does this suggest we could potentially manipulate or even control human emotions by altering these physical organs? On the other hand, if some life forms do not have those tissues as humans do, does it mean they are without emotions? 2. Emotions of inorganic lives. To find answers to these problems, I visited Planet Screwlum, a place crowded with inorganic lives. With Screwlum's help, I gained access to the Mechanical Lifeform Lab. I saw a structure completely different from the ones of humans when I scanned the body of a mechanical lifeform. Case 1. A mechanical girl who escaped from the Annihilation Gang exhibited a strong sense of guardedness against all external matters. Her core circuits showed signs of burn. Case 2. An elderly mechanical being was unable to move after the passing of a family member. Upon examination, there was no issue with his body, but he was unable to answer questions posed by external sources. Electricity flows in their body like blood. Although mechanical lifeforms are nothing like humans, I can see them having similar torrents of emotions. Could this be just an illusion? Or could emotions be unrelated to any physical organs, and instead are dependent on something that transcends physiology? Conclusion. When I was leaving Planet Screwlum, a good friend of mine got emotional when sending me off. It was the first time I had seen tears in shiny, silvery color when they trickled down his crystal-like face. At that moment, I felt love. I was very sure about that. So what exactly are emotions? Instead of being a privilege exclusive to certain life forms, it is the essence of all life forms. It is an abstract behavioral pattern and a common inner language. Perhaps this language was already known to all life forms when they were created. By virtue of this language, all beings are able to understand each other, giving rise to the existence of love. More questions will be solved by future research. Acknowledgements. I would like to thank Mr. Screwlum for providing the lab. Ruan May's annotations. Emotions are the common language of all life forms. That's the conclusion Redacted spent an entire lifetime to reach. Perhaps Redacted was simply that kind of person, but I find it hard to agree with or even understand this finding. I wish I could ask her about it. Dr. Ratio's note. Dr. Ratio's feedback during his visit to the space station. His words show his sincerity. 1. About snacks. The snacks are crawling around everywhere. All the space station researchers should be fired. I've never seen a lab as messy as this. Or are these snacks running the lab? This is rude and unacceptable. 2. About Scaracabaz. It's always go big or go home for these geniuses. The technology department will never be able to come up with such a nonsensical research method. If you see this note, I wish you luck. I would turn around right now if I were you. 3. In the Intelligentsia Guild, there are often mediocre scholars who are ambitious to make it big. They don't understand that the truth is dangerous, and a fool's imprudent pursuit of knowledge will only bring disaster upon themselves. I didn't see any clumsy fools when I was walking around just now. I finally discovered one virtue of this lab. 4. About the greenhouse. The dust and particles are suffocating. I can't believe there's not even a decontamination unit around here. A digital save of Klein's handwritten notes. Excerpt. A limited research report regarding the Lord of Silence recorded by Klein, deceased, Genius Society number 9. Note. The following text was retrieved from Klein's handwritten notes using the keywords Poka Kakamond, Lord of Silence, and Coincidence. July redacted. Today marks our reunion. The phlogiston recycling theory, the biowave prospecting method, and the synthesis technology for gray seal gold. These academic achievements seem unrelated, but they have brought Bodon, Lambda, and me together in the Energy Research Lab. After so many years, we are now doing research under the same roof once again, and Lambda seems very happy. Regarding our membership in the Genius Society, truth be told, the three of us haven't attached too much significance to it. From my student days, it was clear to me that genius was merely a broad term for exceptional brilliance. Different geniuses excel in various fields. The feats achieved by the geniuses Harold Punch, Neil Iman, and someone named Poka Kakamond are beyond my wildest dreams. However, they can never replicate what I have done either. However, I can't care less about the other members of the Genius Society, as they are too far away from us. The dynamics among us three classmates concern me more at present. Redacted 05. I gifted Lambda a set of exoskeleton. Unknown to her, I discreetly implanted a 98% pure Grayseal gold pellet in the structure of its ring finger, cleverly disguising it as a ring. No. This is my secret not meant for sharing, and if she discovers it later, I'll simply attribute it to a coincidence while crafting the exoskeleton. October redacted. During our polar expedition yesterday, Lambda finally successfully located the underground energy source she had long pursued using biowaves. This discovery could power all the cities on planet Ohio T for half a century. Her elation was palpable. She even kicked off her shoes. Then Bodon told me they divorced again. This is their 4th remarriage and divorce. I was unsure how to react. Coincidentally, a butterfly fluttered in the wilderness, lingering before my eyes for quite a while. I don't know why, but that butterfly resembles me in some inexplicable manner. It was the first time I realized such creatures existed in the polar regions of planet Ohio T. Date redacted. No. Something is definitely off. If she hadn't gone there, Bodon would have been there, and it would have been him who got killed in the explosion. But instead I sent him to the hospital. Furthermore, why did Redacted and all the Redacted were closed, and she happened to Redacted? Is this a mere coincidence? Or perhaps date redacted? I found the camera Lambda had hidden in Bodon's lab. God knows why she would need that surveillance, but that's not important. The surveillance record shows that the gray seal gold I had discreetly placed in the phlogiston observation device didn't work as I had planned. In other words, Bodon wasn't wounded because of my plan, but the phlogiston leakage aligned perfectly with my expectations. This can't be a mere coincidence. Someone else has been moving my plan forward. Redacted 15. Lambda smashed that exoskeleton along with the Gray Seal gold pellet. Technically, an ordinary hammer wouldn't have reacted with the Gray Seal gold, but the incident in the central control room couldn't be a mere coincidence. Who gave Lambda that special hammer, and why would she smash the exoskeleton at that precise moment? It simply doesn't make sense. Redacted 4. Pokakakamond is still alive? I thought that genius had passed away. This discovery has given me some insights. Fleet Primer, an educational handbook compiled by IPC, distributed to fleet members to cover essential combat knowledge for space operations. Internal use only. Do not distribute. Hey sailor, ever been to IPC's Space Military Academy? No? Well, it makes no difference, considering we always get some illiterates stricken through. Editorial, those awaiting education. From frontier worlds on board, we should explain how modern space combat works and what sort of opponents we are up against. The history of human warfare is a story of ever-growing toys, from armor and swords to vehicles and guns, then to warships and giant cannons. No matter how soldiers' equipment expanded, victory was always determined by humans. However, at cosmic scales, most battles are decided before they begin. Just by calculating equipment standards, it's easy to predict which way victory will lean, with gaps sometimes greater than between humans and insects. In space, range, accuracy, and speed form an impossible triangle. No entity can excel in all three. Editorial note, except emanators. Thus, warships follow two main attack strategies: close in for precision strikes, or overwhelm opponents with massive and indiscriminate area attacks. Space pirates often take a more direct approach, boarding and bringing the fight to familiar territory. Hand-to-hand combat requires less brainpower than calculating trajectories and routes. Plus, they get a free ship if they win. Inter-Astral Peace Corporation. Without silver rails, Pathstriders still have some inefficient or dangerous travel methods. While these might connect several star sectors, they can't establish a vast and efficient cosmic market. Thus, the IPC fleet's main duty is protecting and maintaining existing silver rails, sometimes also undertaking planetary landings and securing key points. Most warships carry a complement of mechs and drop pods to support ground forces after securing orbit. IPC warships favor energy weapons, with positron cannons, annihilation beams, and imaginary fission cannons standard even on frigates. Our fleet also possesses the universe's strongest shield technology, colored like the Amber Lord's holy form. The Marketing Development Department's 6 fleets are each valued, worth a rank P46 employee. Recently, the Intelligentsia Guild completed modifications on a Genius Society invention, naming it the Number 77 Puzzle Cannon. It triggers explosions directly at target locations, requiring no flight time or accuracy concerns. A perfect weapon. However, still in testing, the device remains too large for all but the biggest ships to carry. Antimatter Legion. Most Antimatter Legion members can cross stars without ships, but for expeditions they use borehole blitz transport vessels as planetary invasion platforms. These ships drill destructive tunnels through imaginary barriers for forced passage. Unlike silver rails, these tunnels are extremely dangerous, unusable by non-Legion forces, and sometimes leak imaginary energy. Ships attempting borehole travel are like threading through a tooth-lined gullet, facing near certain death. When blitz ships close in, Void Rangers and Tramplers can teleport past shields directly to our bridges, overwhelming even ship-based mech forces. In fleet battles, Selenova the Lord Ravager is undoubtedly the most fearsome opponent. Even common Void Rangers cause terrible destruction under her command. Surviving captains report her fleets show uncanny coordination, meshing like perfect gears, even executing theoretical tactics. Considering communication delays and troop morale, our fleets could never achieve such precise cooperation. Recent cases show Selenova possesses intergalactic command abilities, potentially intervening even in frigate-level encounters. When facing Legion forces under Selenova, units must first determine if she or her avatar is aboard the flagship. If so, prioritize decapitation strikes. Though this won't eliminate her permanently, it temporarily disrupts her command. If not, focus on intercepting approaching blitz ships and prepare for retreat. The Xianzhou Alliance. The Xianzhou Alliance fleet underwent 2 reforms, now a vast mix of organic and mechanical vessels. While little intelligence exists about their main warships, more notable is a multi-purpose vehicle called the Starskiff. Take the closely allied Yaoqing. Their Starskiff technology seems similar to Borisin Mecha Beast ships, each bred through biotechnology. Using pilot genetic data as keys, the ship's performance and interface details perfectly match pilot habits, like a custom-made second body. At sufficient tonnage, these Starskiffs can even replace pilots in judgment and action. The Intelligentsia Guild believes such vessels should be considered organisms. Their relationship with pilots isn't just machines with operators, but hunters with hounds. Planet Scrulum. The anti-organic equation may no longer pose a threat, yet given how the 2 Emperors' wars ravaged the known universe, all units must remain vigilant against the Intellitrons, though such caution should remain discreet. Planet Scrulum now stands as the face of Intellitron power, its fleet embodying their philosophy, evolution over creation. Through augmentation, individual Intellitrons transform seamlessly into combat vessels of any scale, commanding their weapons with instinctive precision. Unlike Cloud Knights, who can dismount from Xianzhou Starskiffs post-battle, augmented Intellitrons become one with their warship forms. To Intellitrons, physical form bears no impact on their identity, regardless of the extent of modification or damage. This significantly reduces their maintenance costs. One day, they may abandon these humanoid shells worn for social acceptance, forcing us to unearth our long-buried arsenals.